Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very special art sale we've got going here on the Comic Art Live channel. Welcome to my co-hosts tonight, Chuck Costas and Lawrence Klein. Good evening. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good evening.
Wonderful. Good to see everybody
Great.
again.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I'm happy to be doing this for Ed, and this is, we don't get to do too many things like this, I think, on the channel where we're actually being able to do something that helps out Ed and Heidi, and we get to present some really great artwork to everybody to give them an opportunity to purchase some really fine artwork right before Christmas too, right when you want to have a big, nice
Right.
art drop happen in front of everybody. But this is it's a good night, and I'm really glad to be able to do this for them. So Lawrence, you approached Chuck and I about doing this. Can you tell us a little bit about Ed's current health and situation, and how Heidi and he are coping?
Yeah, no, Ed has MS, and he's in an assisted living nursing home facility, and because of the MS, he can't really draw anymore. And so what I've been helping them do is try to help them organize their artwork so they can raise funds to help cover all these medical costs. As medical costs are outrageous these days, and they need some help. And I approached you two to try to join me and figure out a great way to get the word out, and try to raise some money and sell some of this artwork. Some of it's incredible artwork, and they want it to go to a good, loving homes. And I figured this is a great way for all of us to collaborate, and those out there watching can pick up something great and have it in their collection and help Ed and Heidi.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. It's an honor to help them out. And like you said, there's a lot of great art. There was a lot of artwork that didn't make the cut for this evening as well. So I know if this goes well, we might do another one late winter or early spring. So we'll see how this one goes.
And I know that the Hannigans are really appreciative, because the three of us are donating and volunteering our time here. None of us are getting paid. We're not getting any commissions. All the money goes to Ed and Heidi.
I think it's great. Yeah, we still, as Bill said, I think I had a chance to work with Lawrence to select 30 great pieces for this auction. I know that I've gotten emails from folks today just wondering what we're going to have. You've seen a few snippets from Bill's previews there, but a lot of vintage stuff. I know people like to see that. I think we'll see some of Ed's cover prelims. We'll talk about his history of doing that. We've got a great video that we actually recorded with Ed not too long ago. Actually, before the G.I. Joe 21 cover came up. We had a chance to talk to him, and we actually did talk to him a little bit about that. So, Bill, not to steal your thunder, but I know we're going to make that longer version of the video available a little later on, but we'll have a short version of that just to introduce everybody to Ed, just like we had a chance to talk to him. And it was a great chance to talk to him.
Right. I mean, I wish he could be here with us this evening, certainly. But I understand why he can't. And so like we talked about, we'll show this a brief clip of the interview that we did about 2 weeks ago, and I'll post the full interview probably in a couple of days. I'm almost done editing that, but it's almost done. So I'm expecting to be able to post that by Wednesday or Thursday. I've seen some questions already in the chat. I tried to at least answer a few questions on Facebook and a few other places earlier today, but let me go ahead and show you the approach we're taking to the sale this evening. And I can show you the first slide here that covers pretty much all the nuts and bolts of how we're going to do this evening. So all the claims will happen via email, unlike Dueling Dealers and a few other claim shows that we do where you are going to be doing your claim within the chat. You're going to be emailing Chuck Costas, and his email is Comic-Con or Comic-Con.
It's supposed to be Comic Connection.
I know. I got it right the first time we did this, Chuck. Yes, comicconnection@hotmail.com. So just have that, cut and paste that, put that in a text file, and be ready to use it. With the subject for that email, please put Hannigan and a lot number, whichever lot number you're wishing to purchase. And then in the body, we'd like you to please include your first and last name. And just so you know, winning claims will be replied to right away so that they know they got the art. And this is replied to via email. Chuck will announce in the stream that the piece of art has been picked up, and he will reply immediately, letting the person know who got it. And he will reply to everybody who didn't get the art as well. So, and then at the end of the show, Chuck is going to contact all the buyers with payment instructions. PayPal is a preferred method of payment, but checks are also accepted. We'll go over that, or Chuck will go over that with any of the people who have claimed artwork this evening. Due to the holidays, the art will probably ship after New Year's Day. And any artworks that aren't already signed can be autographed if desired. And Shipping is also is not included with the prices that you're going to see tonight. Domestic shipping is $20, and international shipping for the art will be $50. There are a couple oversized pieces, but I think that these price ranges probably accommodate them. But I'm sure we'll be able to address those things after the fact. The only other thing I wanted everybody to know, and I did link this in both the Facebook post for this stream and over on YouTube, that Chuck is actually using his calf gallery to promote the sale as well. So when we get to the claim portion of this, he's going to tell me that when to show the artwork on the screen. And when he does that, we're actually making it live on calf at the same time. So it gets pushed out to want lists so that other people know it's available. So technically, while everyone here is probably going to be using their email to email Chuck directly, it's quite possible that someone on calf is going to get their want list notice, and they could actually email him through his calf gallery. So we're just trying to cross promote as much as possible to get the sales completed this evening. And so that's going to be the order of how this whole thing is going to go. If anybody wasn't really paying close attention, oh, Nick Barucci. Oh, well, there you go. A super chat from Nick. And I'll tell you what, Nick, that will 100% go to Ed. I can tell you that right now. So thank you very much for doing that. We really, really appreciate that. So again, what we're going to play right now is the excerpt from the clip. And then we'll probably go over everything one last time, and then we'll start the sale. So I hope you enjoy this bit of an interview with Ed. It was a lot of fun talking with him a couple weeks ago, and I look forward to being able to post the full interview sometime later this week. So let's get this up and on screen.
So Ed, nice to meet you. Wanted to talk a little bit about your early career. Would love to know about your influences, I guess, first as an artist, but then also how did you break into work at Marvel and or DC?
Well, my early influences are like everybody else, Kirby and Buscema and people like that, you know. And I first, and now I can't remember anybody's name. Okay. Anyway, I had a bunch of artwork that I did, and I was like real big. It was on illustration board, and it was like, you know, underground stuff, so called. But it was like nothing special, and I just happened to hear that the person I was talking to said that they worked at Marvel and in the production office, and I kind of like invited myself. Said, oh, I can go down there one of these days because we lived in New Jersey, right across the river. You know, I could just like go down there and see what it's like. And they said, sure, you know, fine. And it kills me that I can't remember his name because it's somebody everybody knows. But anyway, so the first people I met there were Marie Severin and I think Herb Trimpe was in there. There was like a little production room, and can't remember. There were a few other people in it. And I remember Marie was very nice to me. Mori Kuramoto was in there with them. And Linda Lessman was in there, I think. And they had a bunch of stuff, and I just kind of did the tour of Marvel, and I hung out there, and I showed them my stuff, and I just tried to sell myself as an artist, a possible artist for Marvel. And at some point, I can't remember exactly what it was, but Saab Brodsky had a bunch of, he was doing the British reprints, like Spider-Man Super Stories, or not, Spider-Man Weekly, Marvel Comics Weekly, whatever. They were the weekly British books, and they worked from these photo sets that were terrible, and he needed somebody to go through as a letterer and fix the A's that like they would close up the little hole in the A and the R's and stuff like that, and to do some lettering on some of them. So, you know, I did the lettering test and passed it. And they gave me for a long time I was doing stats where I was doing the lettering corrections and I was doing zipatones on the stats. Because I had a lot of zipatone gray tones. And I was doing that, and Klaus Janson was doing that. And so that's how I first met Klaus, and we were kind of like rivals for that little assignment. And I would come home and I'd have like tons of pieces of zipatone all over me, because I had my little razor knife and everything. I just cut it out and paste it down. And I did that for a long time, and then finally, I somehow got an assignment to actually draw something. And it was for the Planet of the Apes black and white that they had, the big one. And I had
Magazine,
a
yeah.
couple other things like
Mhm.
logos and stuff for the lettering corrections, but somehow, and I don't even remember how, but I kind of finagled them to like let me draw a story, and they gave me this story by Doug Mensch called Evolution's Nightmare. It was for Planet of the Apes, and I went crazy on it. I had big giant illustration board stuff that I did all the artwork on, and remember when I brought it into Marvel, John Reporton like almost freaked out because he said, "You know what it's going to cost just to mail this?" Because it was going to be inked by Sid Shores. I think he was in California or someplace like that. You're going to have to mail this all the way to California. Maybe it was Florida, and then they have to mail it back, and we have to do all this stuff. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think of any of that stuff." And it just sounded, and then they were like heavy, like number 80 illustration boards. So they were like cardboard.
Right.
So I said, okay, well, sorry about that. But I did that, and I guess Sid Shores inked it and did gray tones and stuff like that. And it was in, I think it was like one of the early Planet of the Apes.
So probably like around mid 70s is when you broke into Marvel.
Yeah, oh yeah. And in the meantime too, I had also started doing cover sketches and stuff for the British books that like the Marvel, can't remember what it's called, those the Spider-Man Marvel book and the
I think it was Super Spider-Man, if I remember correctly. Or
I think you're right.
Spider-Man Comics Weekly or something like that, and the other one was like a generic Marvel one that had like Thor reprints and stuff like that. Daredevil reprints, I remember that. I started doing cover sketches because the covers were like half and half. So you had the top half was one story, and the bottom half was another story. But they would put like half a Marvel story. They did like, I think there were like 10 pages or 8-page segments of a regular Marvel reprint. So you'd have like half a Daredevil story, and then they'd have to come up with a news splash and a cover for the second half of that story. So I did a bunch of cover sketches for those things, and I can't remember who drew them, but Ron Wilson, I think, drew several of the covers for those things off of my sketches. So we were kind of an early team too, and we shared a little space in Saul Brodsky's office, and I was there, and Ron was there, a couple other people were there, and it was great. It was like just really fun. I was like, oh boy, I'm in comics now. I'm in New York City. I didn't know what I was getting into. But it was a lot of fun. I remember one time, I think Barry Smith came in for once to do some work or something. He had a bunch of stuff. I saw his early pages of Red Glass, I think it was, or one of those
Red Nails. Yeah.
One of the Red Sonja books, stories. Yeah, Red Nails. And I like Xerox stuff like crazy. Like people like artwork would come in, and I would just like grab the pages and Xerox them and keep the Xeroxes. For a long time, I had like tons of Xeroxes. I had like all this Gene Colan, Dracula stuff. I mean, it would probably be worth something today, just the Xeroxes alone. But and they were just pencils. They weren't inked pages. They weren't. Most of them weren't even lettered yet. But that was fun. And I did a lot of that stuff, and I just kind of like made a pest out of myself in the office, and I just hung out there. And I didn't have like an official jobs description or anything like that. I was just doing freelance, but they kind of tolerated me and they helped me out. And I remember Marie even gave me there was a drawing table that had been kind of broken and they were going to throw out. And I said, oh wait, I'll take that. I brought it home and fixed it up. And so I had my own first drawing table, like official Marvel drawing table. It was neat. So that's how I kind of got started in it. And then, like I say, I got that Doug Mensch store, that Evolution's Nightmare. Because I switched it around later on in my career. I did a story for something else, and I changed the title. I just took the same title and I titled it Nightmares Evolution. So it was one that I wrote and drew, but can't remember, somebody else scripted it. But anyway, so that was my first little story, and then they get, after that I just got like whatever I could get. I would just like say, give me this, let me do this, and it was kind of neat and fun, and I don't know, the rest is history.
So Ed, you had a great stint, and I think a lot of folks may not know this, but hopefully through this art sale they'll see it. You did some amazing cover layout sketches. Can you talk about some of those assignments? And in some cases you drew them, in some cases other artists drew them. Were there particular ones that you were, very proud of?
Tell you the truth, a lot of them I don't remember. I mean, I remember I did a bunch of Outsiders. I did some Fantastic Four. I did a bunch of Spider-Man stuff. Peter Parker, especially, I did. But the one thing I liked about it, well, most of them are on tracing paper or vellum, which is very similar to tracing paper, only it's a bit thicker. And I liked them, and I would just do quick sketches, and a lot of times I would color them, and I would color them with marker. And I'd color them on the back side, so it would like the color would come through to the front, and
kind of like an animation cell.
It was like a little effect, it looked kind of neat. I mean, I'd have to know what you have to, show it to me to see it. But it was like fun, and I kind of made a little industry of my own out of doing cover sketches, because I was really too slow to actually grind out page after page like a story. Like, I don't think I ever drew more than 6 pages in a row without getting in deadline trouble of anything I did. But I could do those cover sketches, and I could do one of those in like, an hour or a couple hours. And so I could do a whole bunch of them. And they started out paying really low, like $60 or something like that. But I got them up to like $120 or something like that. So, I got to the point where I just like got pretty good at grinding out the cover sketches, and I would just go from editor to editor and ask them, what they were doing. Do they need a cover? And they always needed covers. They always wanted to have a sketch for the cover artist to know what the cover was going to look like of a comic. And it was just kind of neat, And I remember I used to hang out with Dave Kraft and Jim Salicrup a lot, and Roger Slifer. Those are the three of us. It's amazing that Dave Kraft is now dead, and Slifer's been dead for a while. At least Salicrup is still alive. But we used to just like hang out and stuff, and it was things that I used to do. It was almost like a little New York adventure.
So with those cover prelims, I mean, one thing that's really unique about yours as compared to a lot of other cover prelims that are on the market, yours were generally in color, the ones that I've seen by and large. But you would think that the person getting that job, I mean, you must have been somebody that they held in high regard to do the cover prelims. Were you getting a lot of art direction on what to do on the covers, or were you pretty much
really
taking...
Yeah, no, the only art direction I got, well, I used to hang out in Johnny Romita's office quite a bit. And he was kind of in charge of the covers at that time, and so I would get a sketch to do, and he would just kind of say, "Well, do this, do that, do this kind of thing," and he would pretty much okay all of them as I did them. I'd show them to him, and in progress, and he'd say, "No, do this, don't do that, do this kind of thing," and I would do that. I would kind of follow his direction. It was pretty good, but then it got to the point where over at DC, I ended up being the actual cover editor for a while there. That was actually not a very fun job, because then I had to like hound people, like, "Where's that cover?" That kind of stuff. "Where's that art?" But it was neat, and then the editors could use those cover sketches to like direct the artists what kind of cover they wanted, and then also that it was like a color. They didn't have to follow my colors, and a lot of times they didn't, but it just gave them a quick, easy, like, "Oh, this is what's going to look like in color," and we can look at the other covers that are coming out that month, and we have a good idea what's going on with the schedules and stuff. So, but it was a fun, quick way to do stuff, and I enjoyed it, and it was like it paid more for me to do these quick little things for like $100 a piece than to try to grind myself through a story that would like take forever, and I couldn't finish it because I was too slow really to do pages. But the cover sketches are easy because nobody cares about the anatomy and the perspective and that stuff on a cover sketch. It was just like sort of an impression of how the cover is going to look. So nobody cared if somebody's triceps weren't correctly drawn or whatever, you know.
No, Ed, speaking about covers, you also did a lot of logo designs, and even on the covers you designed, you played with the logos. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I like doing that and that was also like an Eisner thing, and I think Frank Miller was doing some of it. But it was basically just like I remember that Eisner used to do stuff like that in the Spirit all the time, and so it was like a fan type thing that I like to do. And some of the logos I thought were pretty dull, so I would just like kind of spice it up. The Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, which was a book that I ended up drawing as a regular assignment. I would always try to do something with that cover because it was like sort of pseudo 3D. I didn't think it looked particularly Spider-Man-ish. But yeah, it was just like a fun thing, like to attract attention. Like, oh, look what he did with the logo. Look at this kind of different thing, you know. And it was like, you know, everybody seemed to like it. They enjoyed what I was doing with it, and even Stan, like, oh, that's great stuff, you know. So, you know, it's just like a fun thing to do. In those days, it was more like, how can I have fun here at work? You know, I didn't consider it like an art career so much as here I am having fun at Marvel kind of stuff.
So, Ed, you had a pretty long career at Marvel. You worked on some very high-profile things like the introduction of Cloak and Dagger. As you look back on your Marvel career, what were some of the highlights for you?
Well, the Cloak and Dagger stuff was, of course, like I said, it was a highlight because introduction of new characters that actually got made into their own comic. And I give Bill Mantlo all the credit for that. I mean, he came up with the characters, but and he just gave me a bit vague, like, okay, Cloak is going to have a big cloak, and he's going to hide people in it, and he's going to like use it for teleportation, kind of. And Dagger would be on the other. She'll just be the opposite. She'll be white and light, and have these light daggers that she throws. So, and that was his basic direction for the thing. I just followed. With Mantlo, he would have it already in his mind, and I would just kind of try to figure out what he was thinking, and then just like interpret it. So he basically came up with Cloak and Dagger full blown, but I came up with the visuals of just the way the cloak was with that ribbon kind of, the dark like stripes or whatever, and Dagger with the strange cutout with the front of her uniform that everybody like was scandalized by for some reason. Like a lot of people, oh, that was terrible, you know. But I thought like a lot of other characters have much more revealing costumes than Dagger did, you know. But for some reason, you know, it's like, oh, you can see her belly button, you know, that kind of thing. But I don't know. I was again just having fun with it, and it was fun to work with Bill, and you know, it was neat. You know, we were just a bunch of teenage fanboys kind of at the time.
Had to unmute my mic. Apologies for that. So that was our excerpt. That's was about 17 minutes. The overall interview lasted about an hour and a half. We'll probably have that distilled down to about an hour and 20 minutes. But I hope you enjoyed that. Since we couldn't have Ed here, I felt like, you know, we've always started off any artist sales that we've ever done in the past with a nice interview with the creator. And since Ed couldn't be here, I felt we needed to start off with something. So I hope you enjoyed that. So, and I saw a few questions. Well, I should actually just, before we even get started, thank everybody who made those early donations. This certainly wasn't what we were expecting, but with Nick Barucci, Jim Martin, Mark V, Disco Stu, Christopher Daly, Jeff Seidlich, thank you all for doing that, using the super chat that's in the YouTube interface to kind of allowed you to do that. So I certainly appreciate that. So that was fantastic. And I know that Ed and Heidi really appreciate that. We'll get that 100% delivered to them as well as part of this sale tonight. So before we jump into the sale, though, I'm going to show the slides once again, just so I know I put the email address in the chat, so everybody has that who wanted to copy and paste that. But I wanted to show one more time that claims will be done via email, and that's just because, just so everybody's clear, it's because we're going to be, Chuck is taking the effort to go ahead, and if a person picks up 2 or 3 pieces of art, he's going to be giving that buyer then the full amount that they owe, and including Heidi in the communication after the show. So that way, they don't really have to do anything other than make sure that the payments are going to be accepted to Heidi. And we wanted to make this as easy as possible for them once the show is completed. So you're going to email comicconnection@hotmail.com. That is with 1 C in the middle there and an X. Don't forget that. The subject line should read Hannigan and the lot number you're wishing to purchase. Don't forget, like any show that we ever do, if a piece of art has been skipped over and not purchased, say lot 6 hasn't been purchased and we're someplace in the middle of the sale, you're more than welcome to go ahead and claim a lot after the fact. There will be 30 lots this evening, so be well aware of that. Sometimes we have a couple different slides for each when there's multiple images that need to be shown. So as we've mentioned already, the emails are going directly to Chuck. Chuck will announce when the art has been claimed live in the chat, and he will also email the person who is the winner. We won't announce the winner's name in the chat for privacy reasons, but Chuck will email the winner back immediately. If he does get a few follow-up claims after the fact, he will send sorry emails right back at you as well. So as we mentioned, PayPal's preferred, but checks can also be accepted, and those will be covered in the emails that Chuck sends out after the show to anybody who's made any of the purchases this evening. And again, finally, the shipping costs will be $20 for domestic and $50 for international.
Yeah, and Bill, I should go on the record for saying that goofy email that I have, I came up with, a friend of mine came up with in the 90s, long before Comic Connect existed. So, I guess there's some confusion potentially with that. But yeah, most people call it Comic Con and Zion. I don't know. I guess it never caught on, but I just couldn't bother to change my email.
It's no problem. It was funny. The first time we did a show together, I read it and didn't even think about it. And it was perfect. And then I had to stammer my way through that last one because I was trying to enunciate, and then I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, just go ahead and email it. Or if you go to CAF, if you're following along on CAF and you want to contact me through that, that's the great thing about doing it through CAF. You can send an email through CAF and it'll go directly to me the same way. So, but what I'll do is I'll monitor all the emails. I will tell everybody when I have somebody that has claimed it, so that you don't have to continue to send me emails, but anybody that may send it after the fact. Because a lot of times, very frankly, we've done this before, things will come fast and furious, and maybe we may get 5 or 7 emails that everybody wants it all at the same time. I apologize that not everybody can have it. We do have 30 great pieces that we're going to be offering tonight, so hopefully everybody can walk home with one. And if we can sell out, that will be great for Ed and Heidi tonight. I think that's the goal, is to raise as much money as we can for them tonight. And I do think there's a great selection of pieces here. So be ready with your trigger, have your emails ready, and as Bill said too, just make sure that you include the lot that you would like, so that it's very clear to me which one you're actually trying to claim. Because if we do have ones that do get passed, you can claim them at any time throughout the sale. So if, for instance, lot 3 gets passed and you want to, at lot 24, you want to claim lot 3, go ahead and send me an email, and we can also claim those old ones. And you can look on CAF. I will be going back and forth updating that, just so you know the status of what has sold and what is still available.
And one other exciting announcement: CBCS is going to do a special mail-in signing with the Hannigans for Ed's signature. And it's going to cost $15 for the signature, with all that money going to Ed. The additional money you'll have to pay us for the grading fees and whatnot. But there's no fees for this. All the money and the fees, the $15 goes to Ed and Heidi. So if you go to CBCS, their mail-in signing webpage, the signing event, there'll be information there about it.
Great. And I'll definitely run some announcements via CAF's news section and any other ways that I can help promote it as well.
Yeah, so we thank CBCS for doing that.
Oh yeah, without question. No, they're great.
Yeah.
So I saw one question from Jason. He asked if the pieces were priced in order, and they are not. It's kind of a mix. We tried keeping certain things together. As you'll find, cover prelims are up first, so we're definitely not starting at the low end of everything, but we tried to group things by type, I guess, or
Yeah,
by,
I think
or
we
by
tried to
title.
really look at Ed's career and have examples throughout Ed's career of different types of work, both from Marvel, DC, anything from cover prelims to interior pages. And there's people were wondering too, is it all published? Is it unpublished? I know there's a cover recreation in the middle of this. Most of the work is either prelims for published work or published work. So hopefully that's stuff that this audience would like. But it's a really great selection of different things throughout Ed's career. And when you listen to the interview, you'll get some greater insights into each of those. We try to touch on sort of those different highlights, whether it be, as you heard, creation of logos to, his work at DC when he moved on to that, which we didn't get a chance to go into. G.I. Joe, for those folks that do care, about, sort of his work on that as well. But a whole great, when we do get that interview out there, I think it's a great opportunity for fans that haven't gotten to meet Ed live over in the past years for you to really get some insights into his career and his perspective on that as well.
Agreed.
All right, but are we almost ready, Bill, to get teed up?
Yeah, I am ready. And the only thing I would mention, I mean, everybody who's seen one of these shows before knows what the slides look like. In the lower left-hand corner of every slide that we're going to pull up, it will show the lot number. It will have the details of the artwork on there as well. And we'll also show the email address for comicconnection@hotmail.com. So all the information you need is on the slide. And that's all I wanted to cover before we get started. So Chuck is really going to lead us because he is activating the piece on CAF at the same time. So he's telling me when I can show the slide, and we'll go from there.
All right, I'm going to do the big countdown. We're ready for the first piece. This is exciting. 3, 2, 1, and it should be up on CAF. There it is. Yeah,
and this is the cover prelim that Ed had put together for Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 to issue 224. And we didn't get the chance to talk specific pieces with him, but I thought that this one was, really, really, really nice. And you can see the difference between the color choices that Ed made to the final published piece. But
and we have our first claim.
Oh,
congratulations.
All right.
Well, I didn't think that one was going to last too long. That was very nice. And we should say I can tell you we did not list the art sizes on the slides, but by and large everything is about what you would expect. That was on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Was that on paper or vellum? I know he had a couple different.
Yeah, this one's on paper.
Okay. And you can see.
Yeah, and I think the final version of that was done by John Romita Jr. I think that's the other interesting thing about these is that Ed, sometimes would actually finish it himself, but not always. And this is a good example where another artist actually finished it.
And to answer one of the questions, they can be signed by Ed. So if you wanted signed, just let Chuck know when you send in the email that you want it.
That's right.
Yep.
So what I've done on CAF is I'm going to put sold at the end of the title as well as the price. So it's pretty obvious that this one has been sold.
Correct.
But thank you for the first winner of that one. Hopefully that is enjoyed for years to come.
They can be signed however you want them.
Okay.
That's good. Good question, Nick. So there you have it. So anything that, if you want to personalize or just have Ed's signature on them, you can. And Mark, I know you mentioned, the sizes. Definitely when anything is a non-standard size, we will let you know. There aren't too many of those, but by and large, the cover prelims were all 8.5 by 11, except for one of them, the penciled one that we're going to see in a little bit. But most other things are the sizes that you would expect them to be. Okay. And I will not sign them also.
I will not either. I will not desecrate Ed's wonderful work. All right. Well, are we ready to move on to lot number 2?
Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, countdown 3, 2, 1. It should be up on CAF.
All right. So lot number 2 is priced $2,000. This is the cover prelim to Captain America issue 248.
Which was drawn ultimately by John Byrne on this one. I think a lot of people will remember this from the classic Byrne run.
Oh, without question. One of my favorite books from John's run on Captain America. So, and I like the cookie reference that Ed had put in there, just to make it a little bit of fun.
Yeah, and I think this one's interesting in that this one was black and white. I think a lot of the other cover prelims that we do see are full color. But Ed did this one fully in black and white on that marble paper that you see for cover prelims. It was used, back in the 70s and 80s.
And it's pretty detailed too.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of detail on that one, and the brickwork and all that, and Dragon Man looks very much like the final version of the cover that you see there. And when I think about cover prelims, people always ask, what is a cover prelim worth versus the final cover? In my opinion, frankly, I always find it somewhere between 5 and 10% of what the final cover would go for. And I think in today's world of the final John Byrne Captain America 248 cover, you're easily looking at a $50,000 plus cover, if not a lot higher. So to be able to get the cover prelim here for only $2,000, just a great example of that you can put on your wall at a fraction of the price, and it looks like the final cover that everybody remembers there.
Yeah, great piece of Marvel history here. And on the, I love it on the Marvel Comics Group, paper.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And the old address, which Marvel has changed addresses many times, especially in recent years. No longer at 575 Madison Avenue, but also a point in time when those were where the Marvel offices were. So you can date it by then as well.
And there are not that many of these covers left that Ed has. So you're seeing a few of the top ones that he still has left.
Yeah, and I looked through CAF, and I sort of looked. I know over the years, folks have maybe contacted Ed or run into Ed and gotten some of the cover prelims. I think the ones that we're offering tonight are really some of the more memorable covers that I remember, at least from that time period. So, if you're looking for one or holding out for one, I do, personally do think this is one of the better ones that I've seen, especially from the Captain America run. But I think it's also one that was a little bit unexpected. When I first saw this, I was like, wow, he actually designed that cover. He's not credited anywhere for doing that. It's credited to Byrne and Rubenstein. But yeah, again, Ed was the person behind it that would actually design this great cover. All right, we don't currently have any takers as far as I can see.
That's all right. We'll see it. We'll see it in the recap. We will be doing a recap, everyone, just so you know. And one question, and Lawrence, you may or may not know this. I did see somebody ask before we got started whether or not there would be the option for time payments. I mean, there aren't too many very expensive pieces in here, so I don't know what Heidi and Ed would be thinking. But you have any thoughts on that?
I guess if it's a simple time payment of a couple of payments or 4 payments or something over a short period of time, probably would be okay, I would guess.
All right,
but
that'd be something.
Nothing too complicated. They're not dealers, and,
right?
They just we want to make this as easy as possible for them.
Exactly. That would be the thought. The hope is that we pay them off promptly and not over a couple months. So
exactly.
So, but it can always be talked about after the sale has been made. If
Correct.
There was a need to break it into 2 payments, for instance. It is the holidays after all.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
so,
we'll move on to the third one here. And again, this is following along the lines of cover prelims. And again, the Captain America 248 will be available after, maybe some people are out there waiting to see all the cover prelims and other things that we're going to be offering. Again, you can go back to it after you say, okay, I've seen them. And we'll let you know when we're done with the cover prelims. And if you want to go ahead and claim it at that point, happy to do that at that point too. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to number 3. This is lot number 3. So let us know if you want that in 3, 2, 1.
All right. So lot number 3 is $2,000 as well. It's the cover prelim to Captain America 292. So, I really, really like this one. And, the cover is a little different. The character, as far as the costumes and whatnot, and the poses are a little different. The shield's up over the Captain America logo in the published version. But, again, just a dynamic cover. And I really, the thing is, the one takeaway that I had from talking with Ed was that, he really enjoyed doing these cover prelims. And it was something that, he clearly took a lot of pride in doing. And, it's something that, he has, as someone who had to grind these things out, I think he had a lot of fun doing them. And just like he said earlier in the little brief interview that we did with him, that, that he was always kind of, wow, I'm getting to work in comics. And so I can't imagine how fun it must have been for him to be the person responsible for doing the layouts for all these covers. So fantastic opportunity for him. And I know he enjoyed it.
Yeah, this cover is on vellum paper. A little bit of staining you can see in the image, but not in the drawn image, and a couple of look like staple marks up above the A. but that's about it. It's great condition.
Yeah, and I think that this is one that Hannigan ended up doing himself. I think is it Hannigan and Jansen, I believe, are credited to this one. So a little different than when he was designing it for himself versus maybe somebody else. And he was actually went to full color on this one so that he had a good sense of what the final thing was going to look like, especially from that very detailed background.
It's about 8.5 by 11.
Yeah. All right. Well, and I apologize. There's been some. I know for the first one we had there were some folks whose emails went to my junk folder, so I'm going to check the junk folders at the same time just to make sure that nobody goes in there. So if you did try to claim something and you don't hear back from me, you do try to get Bill's attention as well. If for some reason you're not getting a reply back from me and we're still talking about it, but hopefully I'll respond to you within maybe 15 seconds or so from when we got it, or at least you'll hear it from me. But currently we don't have anybody claiming this one yet. Again, this is 2000. This is Captain America. It's 292. And this is the last, I can tell you know, this is the last of the Captain America covers that we're going to be offering. So if you're a Cap fan, we've got the 248 and we've got the 292. But that's going to be it as far as the covers go. And yeah, somebody pointed out down at the bottom is that it was actually labeled 291. It did not end up making it to be 291. It ended up getting published as 292. Good, a little behind the scenes, but as you know, deadlines change and so do the issues as well. So,
Yes. Thank you, Christopher, for pointing that out.
Okay, well, shall we move on to lot 4 then?
All right, we shall.
All right, let me get this teed up. This is another cover prelim. We've seen this one in sort of the previews that you've given, but a very cool one. And I'll really reveal it in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this is lot number 4, priced at $1,500, and this is the cover prelim to Ghost Rider Volume 2, Issue 58. I believe this cover was eventually drawn by Bill Sienkiewicz.
That it was.
Yes. And you can see I made it a little bit too small there in the upper left-hand corner, but that is the published cover. So very, very similar to Ed's work on this. And on this one, they kind of stuck to the colors a little bit closer, I guess. But again, this is a fantastic cover. I mean, I was always a Ghost Rider fan. I was always a horror kind of genre aficionado, I guess, in comics. So Ghost Rider was always something that I enjoyed. And then this is just a fun cover, nice perspective, getting Ghost Rider in the rear view mirror of this thing. So yeah, I really like this one. And again, I think while the logo that was on the published version certainly stuck with what was on the comic, I like the fact that he was trying to do something a little different, trying to play with the Ghost Rider logo, making it as if it was kind of in the a lighting effect across the hood of the car, the top of the car. So lots of fun on this one.
Yeah, also about 8.5 by 11 on paper. Really pops in real life.
Yeah, and it's the only Ghost Rider cover that we've got. It's a little bit of an offbeat title that Ed typically worked. We saw Spidey where he did a number of different covers on that. We saw Captain America where he did a couple covers on that. This is the only Ghost Rider that we've got an example of tonight. So if you're a Ghost Rider fan, this was I would consider this somewhat classic cover on the run, but a memorable cover on that run. So if you're that, and it's also a little less than what we've offered the other ones at $1,500 versus $2,000 for some of the other cover prelims. But as Lawrence also mentioned too, the family's very I think there's not that many cover prelims left that to offer, and these are some of the best ones that they've been able to hold on to over the years. So this one's, I think, a great deal at $1,500. If you're looking for a good cover example by Ed.
Agreed. Marcus had a question for you that you'll continue to check your spam and double check timestamps and those sorts of things.
I am doing that right now. Yes, that is correct. So still do not have any for lots 2, 3, and 4 at this point in time. So like I said, if anybody feels like they're not being heard or they're trying to place it and you're not hearing back from me, please go ahead and post something there so at least get Bill's attention so he can flag it to me while I'm constantly checking between the two. But as of right now, we still don't have anybody claiming those, so they are still available. Personally, I love Ed's cover prelim, so that would be a great thing to own for myself. I know.
And it's what's amazing, you'll hear in the bigger interview, is how many of these he actually got back that were returned to him.
Yeah, it's funny. You don't see as many, and I think with original art, when you think about like the final cover art that's out there, or interior pages, you can kind of assume that most of those stayed around and were returned back to the artist or sold over the years. With cover prelims, it's hit or miss. Whether they actually exist. I know I'm a big G.I. Joe fan. Larry Hama did a number of those G.I. Joe covers, and it's very rare to actually find one of those. A lot of stories from artists where it's like, yeah, they handed me one and I threw it away, or didn't think it would ever be worth anything, so didn't bother to keep it. So it is in some cases rarer to find these cover prelims, especially if it's a favorite issue of yours. So grab them while you can, in my opinion.
What year was the Ghost Rider? That I did not note that.
I'm guessing, if I remember, it ended in, what was the last issue, was like in this 81, and that was like 1983-ish. So this would probably be like 1980, 1981, maybe. Okay. I have a claim for no, that's actually the next one, which we haven't even revealed yet.
Well,
I don't know how you can claim the one that we haven't even revealed yet.
Well, I can tell you that happens a lot in dueling dealers, where people set up their claim and accidentally hit enter. So
right.
it does happen.
Shall we reveal number 5 here and see if the person who
still would like it, they can try it again. But yeah, this is a very, very historic prelim. So
all right, let's reveal it. 3, 2, 1.
So this is lot number 5. It's priced at $5,000, and I do know that this particular prelim is taped on an 11 by 17 board, so it's pretty close to standard art size. It does have some chipping in the lower right-hand corner, and once we have a second, I can have Ed show that to you. But this was the cover to Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man, issue 69. This was the second appearance.
Okay, this one is sold. I will. There was 2 folks there. I'm going to unfortunately have to get back to one that did not win it. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, this was one of my favorite pieces, and of all the 30 that we're showing tonight, even though it's just a cover prelim, I mean, it's so historic, and so I don't know. I mean, this the thing is, and we'll see this in a few other pieces later. Ed's choice of color and the art direction that he did on covers and interiors, I thought was just so unique. And you look at the published version of that and how he handled the crowd beneath, Cloak and Dagger. It's just so unique for its time, and it's part of the reason why some of these covers, were ones that you just bought the book because you thought the cover was cool. And in this case, it being the second appearance of Cloak and Dagger, I mean, this is fantastic. Congratulations to whomever got this.
Absolutely, congratulations. It's a great piece.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, especially since that's what Ed is, sort of known for, and when you look back on the history of his career, to have a piece that is this important, it's really a great thing to own. So congratulations to the winner there. I have marked that sold in the CAF gallery, but just a reminder that lots 2, 3, and 4, which are some of the other cover prelims, are still available. I'm going to continue to check my junk mail there. Do not see anybody yet claiming those, but if you are bummed that you missed out on that, there are still a few more. And we do have one more Spider-Man cover coming up here, so stay tuned here.
Yeah, this one's really cool.
This is really cool.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, in 3, 2,
shocking
1.
All right, so this is lot number 6. It's priced at $2,000. It's the cover prelim to Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 1, issue 66. And perspective a little different from what the published version ended up having, but still contains a lot of the elements. The Epic Illustrated logo just pitched in a different perspective on the published cover. But yeah, just again, another great example of Ed's work in cover design, and again, and use of color too. I think that the fact that he wanted to give some direction with the color was I'm sure was just part of how the enjoyment he got out of it. He probably could have stopped right where he was at and not colored any of these, but I'm glad that he did.
Yeah, I mean, you could sort of, it's interesting that Epic Illustrated logo looks like he may have, I don't know if he photocopied that or what he did with that, but it does pop like a neon sign. And I think it captures that spirit of New York on this one. And as you said, they changed the final logo on this one, but, or the layout a little bit on this one. But I think this is a great start to the, it would be interesting to see what the discussion was around why they wanted to change it. And we don't have, let's see, I have a question. Do we do time payments? And I think on one of the cover prelims. And Lawrence, your answer on that is you think we do?
Yeah, but it would be limited, you know,
Okay.
not long-term, not multiple, you know, not too many payments. But I'm sure we can figure something out.
Okay. Yeah. And so for all those, and the person that just emailed me, just so I don't have to type it up there, if you want to go ahead and reserve one of the other previous ones that we had using time payments, more than welcome to go ahead and do that. We can discuss what's reasonable there. Okay.
And thank you, Kyle H., as well, for your super chat donation. We all appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, since we don't have anybody immediately reserving this, let me go ahead and check the junk mail before we move on from this. I don't see anybody on that yet. But all right, we're going to move on, which is going to be our last cover prelim here.
And it's not a Marvel cover.
It is
prelim.
not Marvel.
No,
It
not
is,
Marvel.
That is correct. Let's go ahead and reveal what that one is in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this is lot number 7. The price on this is $2,000, and this is from the second volume of The Flash. It's the cover prelim to issue number 1. And you can see the final version was done slightly different on the perspective, but it still contained.
We have somebody to claim this one.
Oh.
Hey, Bill, let me just show something, if you don't
Sure.
mind.
No, let me go ahead.
So you can see it is signed on the bottom. It is pasted to board. It's DC board on the back.
And I apologize. It looked like we had 2 people that wanted this one, but only one can get it. So thanks for being quick on your fingers. But unfortunately, there's always a loser when we have 2 people that come in at the same time.
Yeah, that one's really nice. I really like that one as well. And it, you know, and again, it's I mean, just show it one last time to everybody so they can see what, you know, it just embodies Ed's philosophy on the covers, the color use, and the dynamic character. I mean, I kind of like the perspective in the prelim a little bit better than the other one, because it's just a little bit more coming at you.
So it got a little bit more action to it. I think the final version is a little bit more posed, if you want to look at it that way.
Right, exactly. And you know, and it may be because it's a prelim, it's a little bit more loose and whatnot. But I do prefer the prelim over the final. But yeah, but again, to the number 1 book, congratulations to the buyer. Thank you.
Let me go ahead and update this. Just if you can stall for just a bit, I'll just make sure that I update CAF. There are a few, anything that doesn't say sold on it. Either I'm going to put it both in the title and next to the price. Then those are still available. And Bill, do you want to recap which ones are still available at this point? So these are all the cover prelims at this point in time. So if you were interested in one of the cover prelims, the ones that we still have remaining are the ones to choose from.
Right, the ones that haven't sold would be lot number 2. This was the cover to Captain America 248. Lot number 3. Yeah, the cover to Captain America 292, and as well the other Marvel that is still out there was lot number 4, $1,500. This was the cover prelim to Ghost Rider 58. And
I just want to confirm. Sorry, Bill.
Go ahead.
That time payments are okay, but they have to be limited.
Yep. And for the person who emailed me about that directly, just go, if you still want the piece that you're inquiring about, go ahead and send me a confirmation that you're looking for it or that you want to get it, and I will be happy to do that. That was one of the previous ones that we had passed on for now, but they are still available, and I think those are still some great covers if you want to add one of those cover prelims to your collection.
Agreed. And this was the last one. It was lot number 6. That was $2,000. The Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man 66 cover prelim. So I was wrong when I said I had the last Marvel one when I showed the Ghost Rider. So there you go. And those were the 7 cover prelims that we chose to make available tonight.
That's correct. All right. Well, for this next one, I'll give you a little bit of a teaser in that this is not actually drawn by Ed, but it was actually a piece that was donated by somebody that worked with Ed just for tonight, as far as part of the fundraiser. So we'll tee it up, and then maybe Lawrence, you can explain a little bit more the backstory on this particular piece. All right. So 3, 2, 1.
So this is a cool piece. So this was in Ed's collection. It's a proof for the Dark Knight Triumphant.
Dark Knight 2. Yeah.
Dark Knight 2. It's got a copyright, the DC stamp from 1987 on the front, on the bottom. And I spoke to Bob Schreck, who's the editor, and Klaus, and they both feel it was a proof for another edition of the book that came out for the colorist. There is some handwork on it. If you look carefully in the middle row, the third from the left, there's a spot that's a word balloon that's blocked out. There's some, blue pencil in there. But the exciting part about this page, aside from it being a proof, is that Klaus Janson drew that special drawing of Batman for this auction. So you've got a proof with an original drawing by Klaus on it.
And we all know how much Dark Knight color guides have been going for as of late, since the pages have gotten to a point where they are totally, I wouldn't say unaffordable to most, but they have reached out of most collectors' price ranges. So I think this one's a great one.
And it's a nice big page.
And we have somebody claiming lot 8. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Confirm back.
What was the size on that, Lawrence?
Oh, I need to get a ruler. It's much bigger than a comic art page. I should have had my ruler handy. There you go.
We use Hulk hands on Dueling Dealers.
I can hold it up and show you. So, it's like.
Yeah, so it looks like somewhere around 14 by 20-ish. Okay. Well, it was very nice of Jansen to do that. That's fantastic. And thank you so much to the buyer who picked that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that it was a little unexpected. I didn't know how to preface the fact that there was going to be a piece in here that wasn't drawn by Ed, prior to the show. So,
but this was in Ed's collection, so we found it in Ed's collection. Klaus did his, cool little drawing on it, and thank you.
Okay.
All right. Congratulations.
Well, with that one being sold, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This one was done by Ed. It's a little different. We sort of alluded to this one earlier on, but let's go ahead and introduce this in 3, 2, 1.
All right. So this is lot number 9, $250. These are Legends logo designs. And as you can see, there are many of them. The image on the right is an enlarged one, but so the image that's directly above the information for this lot are the pieces. There are 6 different pieces of paper here with 2 logos drawn on each of them.
And we have this one claimed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that one was a no-brainer. I mean, Legends was a fun story, and it's interesting to see the different takes that Ed put into this one to where they were able to make their final decisions on that. So congratulations to the buyer.
Yeah,
I thought that was I think there's 6 total. That's quite a deal.
Exactly.
You think about the individual thing, but and also kind of rare as well. You don't see logo designs sold by themselves very often.
No.
I apologize. There's somebody that just got who sent me a message. This has been sold, unfortunately, so I will reply back that unfortunately you did not get lot 9. It has been claimed, but thank you for the double interest in this one.
Yeah. And if there's something people are interested in for the next time we do this, and we'll probably do this again, let Bill or Chuck know, and we can find the right pieces and put more of those on.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Let me get back to my calf here.
Yeah, Chuck's doing double, triple duty tonight.
We've done a few of these sales, so I've learned how to do it, but it never gets easy. But I'm almost ready here. The next one, so that was the only logo designs that we have for tonight by themselves. This next piece is also a bit unique. And again, very cool piece, but again, you might want a little bit of the backstory on it, but when you look at it, you'll see how cool it is. You may want to go ahead and claim it. So I will announce it in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this is lot number 10. The price on this is $1,500. It's from Celebrate the Century Superheroes Stamp album, issue 6. This is a DPS. It's pages 2 and 3. It also comes with the prelims. So the original art is right above the lot description that Korea, the Cold War gets hot. It's 2 boards taped together. We've also shown the image that's on the back, the production routing sheets. But below the production routing sheets are the 2 prelims that were also done for that. So you get both the DPS published piece as well as the 2 separate prelims that were done for this DPS.
And we have somebody claiming this.
Awesome. These were published by the United States Postal Service, and all 4 pages are full size on DC paper.
Yeah, and I thought that was, for somebody that might be a stamp collector as well out there, this is a very rare opportunity to get something like that.
Absolutely. And
I was actually surprised when I was researching this on how many of those books they actually did. But they had a variety of different artists that were contributing to those books. But it was a great opportunity for them to have these sort of jam pages where you have a number of different characters there, and they had a bunch of different artists and inker combos that worked on these books together. But in this particular book, Ed had only done this double page spread. But I think what's also cool on this is the actual stamps that they put on there, just to kind of see what it was going to look like when the stamp was put on there. Yeah. But it is sold. I have updated that on CAF at this point in time.
Thank you.
Thank you to the buyer of that. That was a unique DC piece that we had. But we will have some other things that might surprise you as well. So moving on to a different part of Ed's career here. Ed also worked a little bit in licensing art. So this will be an example for licensing art in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this would be a piece of art from a Kenner packaging art. This is lot 11. The price is $300. I wasn't able to find the published piece that this would have been done on, but this would have been the top half of the backing board on a toy figure with clearly a grappling gun and some type of a extra rope there as well for Batman. And I was in the research I was doing it. These were they came in a lot of different flavors. Sometimes in that area to the left of Batman, there was a bat signal sometimes, and I think in other cases there might have been a figure in that space. But just a unique piece, and pencils. You get to see Ed's pencils in this one, and there's bricks.
Pencils.
Exactly, and lots of bricks on it. Everybody, you know how much we like bricks here on the channel. But I did try to find it. I couldn't locate it, but there were several really close to it.
I actually looked it up as well because it's dated 1993 on the back, and so I did a little bit of research, which is they had a Batman the Animated Series figure that looked very similar to this, but that didn't seem to match. My gut is because it was done in November or okayed in November, probably didn't come out until 1994, and there was a Mask of the Phantasm piece that I forget what it was actually called. So, but it didn't. The final art did not look like this particular, but I do think it was based off of one of the figures that was in that 1994 Mask of the Phantasm series.
Yeah,
that was my guess.
It'd be fun to find an inker to make a blue line of it and ink it.
Yeah, and a lot of times the other thing I was actually thinking with that, and when I found those types of pieces before, is there was actually a style guide. A set of Batman style guides that you will also find. I didn't do all the research on that one to figure out if that's potentially where it could have also been used. But you do see some of those things. And then they would have been inked by, like, say, a Garcia Lopez or somebody along those lines from that time frame. But a cool piece, especially if you're a toy collector. You don't see that type of licensing art. And for $300, not very expensive. And
the image size is about 8.5 by 11. I think the paper itself is a little bit bigger.
Cool. So let me go ahead and check my junk mail on that one, but I don't think we have a taker on that one quite yet. But again, I know everybody's sitting out there going, I'm wondering what I'm going to buy.
All right. Well, so we'll see that in the recap. But do you have that piece with you, Lawrence? Is that one?
I do.
Okay. All right, might as well just show it before we move on to the next piece.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Are we ready? And okay, so to preface this one, again, something you may not think of Ed for, Ed also worked as a color guide artist. I guess he would color some of the color guides as well. And I was quite shocked to find this one out. Again,
Same
not
here.
a pen and ink piece that he worked on, but he was the colorist for this. But I think you'll quickly recognize, and there are 5 pages that go through this, so I'm only going to show the first on CAF. But you'll recognize the art combo that worked on this issue, and it's kind of a classic issue. So 3, 2, 1.
All right. So just before we get going on this, there are 3 different slides to show off these 5 color guides. This is from Daredevil Volume 1, issue 167. Obviously, Miller Jansen did the artwork for this, but Ed did the colors for it, and fantastic job on this. I look back at that, like I mentioned earlier, with the Spectacular Spider-Man color job on that cover for issue 69. Similar kind of approach with these really bright, garish colors that we know was
and we have a
indicative.
claim for this one.
All right, I didn't even get to show the other two.
No,
two slides.
keep going, show everybody.
All right, because it just keeps getting better and better, just so everybody knows. So these were this is 3 and 4, and then this was the final one, which is, I mean, they're all really, really choice, but yeah, I love this last one, and I really love the first one, which was showing you how, you know, he gets through and gets out through the skylight and everything. So I'm sure everybody remembers this issue really well from issue 167. But yeah, congratulations to whoever picked this up. And sorry I wasn't moving fast enough through all of these, but you
showed enough, I guess, to pique somebody's interest out there. So
right. All right.
And I do think that, you know, these color guides, they've been relatively inexpensive for a number of years. Definitely something that I think is due for an adjustment at some point in time, because they are, you know, yes, it is the color art versus the black and white art, but especially when it's something like this, that each of those pages would probably run you at least $25,000 a piece right now. Goodbye there.
Very,
sorry,
very nice.
There's one follow-up person that unfortunately I had to say no to, but again, good to see that there's some interest from multiple people.
No, and a lot like cover prelims. I mean, the color guides have been, gaining popularity as. I mean, some people say, "Oh, they're not art," but at that era of color guide work, I mean, they're beautiful. Sure. They're works of art in and of themselves, and are part of the production process. So they are, and from issues like that, I mean, I've seen some Miller Daredevil cover prelims go for, especially like a few title pages that I've seen in the past go for, almost half that or more like, close to $1,000, depending on what it's from. So that was a great deal, and congratulations to whomever picked that up. I hope to see it.
I want to let people know that the Batman toy art was just claimed as well.
Okay.
So that was lot number 11.
Mm-hmm. Great.
We did say the Daredevil color art was $1,250 a page, right?
No, we did not.
No, we didn't. So I guess we're held to sell the whole thing for that, unfortunately.
Right. I mean, the ones I've seen go for.
This.
Yeah. Well, next time maybe things will be a little different. You never know. But
I do think in a few years you'll start seeing that, especially for Miller exactly, pages.
Yeah.
Right. But no, but again, that was a very to me, and just so everybody knows, when we were going through this, we were looking at pricing these things at market value, and that's why so just with that and with everything else we've looked at here, we wanted to get, this isn't a fire sale by any means. Just so in the interview with Ed, you're going to learn that, I mean, Ed really cherishes his work and his time, doing comics, and that's why he held on to this for so long. I mean, he'd probably, if he could, he'd rather keep the art, but so this is a really unique opportunity. And so when we were looking at everything, and Chuck really was working a lot on setting the pricing on things, that we were looking at getting market value for all the artwork we're showing tonight. So bit of an effort. And
we all appreciate, I know that there's a lot of you folks that we've gotten some people that have bought multiple items, so thank you very much for doing that. And again, all the money is going to Ed, so think about it as you're buying a piece of art, but you're also supporting Ed at the same time. So
And Kevin Margetts asked, our claims going through email and that post on the site. That is correct, Kevin. Let me just, for the sake of doing it, show the last slide so you can see the email address that you need to email is the comic connection at hotmail.com. I just have to not stop or stammer when I'm reading it. So you want to send it an email to that address with the lot number in the subject and your first and last name in the body. First person to email Chuck is the winner of that artwork, and we'll get to claim it. And after the show, we will Chuck will coordinate with Heidi and Ed as far as emailing the buyer the total amount for their purchases this evening, as well as the shipping amounts, and coordinate how we're handling payments this evening. So if you're coming in late and joining us, that is the process. So, but please definitely put down that email address, comicconnection@hotmail.com. That's with one C and an X in there, and just be ready to claim the art when we put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I would call this a little bit of an oddball piece. Another one that I wasn't quite expecting. So let's go ahead and reveal this one as well. And then if we want to talk a little bit about the backstory on this as well, Lawrence. In 3, 2, 1.
All right. And there are 2 slides for this one as well. These are a set of Doctor Who prelims for $250. It's lot number 13. This is the first one where I put a detail image to the left and the main image on the right, and classic Doctor there as well. And then an extra set of images here as well with the Doctor and some direction on there as far as stats. I didn't.
We have a claim for lot 13 here, so thank you very much.
Yeah. And these were for house ads, correct?
Correct.
Is that what they were? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I spoke to Dave Gibbons about these, and he said that they were house ads, and basically let Ed do his thing with it.
Well, another great pickup, and
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
So I have somebody that just emailed me Hannigan lot number without a lot number. So if that was you,
yeah,
I will send you a question mark back so you know which one it is.
Right. And again, I think it's cool. Everybody out there, we love comic art. We love the process. We love things that's going into it. And like Samuel says, very unique and very cool from Ted. And again, these are, the unique pieces of history in comics. And from talking with Ed, I mean, he went out of his way to salvage different things. Or when we talked about some of the art that was coming into to Marvel, he would take it and photocopy it before the inkers could get it, because he wanted to study the pencils. So he saved so many interesting things in his time with both Marvel and DC, just because of his own trying to be studious about the work that was coming in, and just because he loved it too, being able to see it in that raw format. So we're so glad that he hung on to so many of these.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to pick it up and help Ed.
Here. So we're switching gears on this next one as well.
Yeah, let's. This is going to be a DC piece for those folks that are DC fans, but it's trading card artwork. So for those that are fans of trading card artwork, this one might be for you, and it does come with the roughs with it. And we'll reveal that in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so lot number 14. This is $500, and Lawrence, you'll need to let me know the size. So after I get done reading the title, it's Skybox Bloodlines trading card, Carl Kessel inks. You can see the different prelims that are available there. The pencil piece and the inked piece was inked by Carl Kessel. And what were the sizes on that, Lawrence?
The original is about 8.5 by 11. The full pencil, the bottom right on the screen is just a tad larger. It's on DC paper, cut up, and then the prelims are just a bit smaller. So there's about 4 items in this lot, and it looks like the original piece, the one that was used for the card, is signed by Kessel on the bottom in red.
Yeah, and all this trading card art, again, it's sort of been interesting to see an evolution with trading cards becoming more and more popular in the last year. There's been more interest in the trading card art, and it's not quite as common as I guess your typical original artwork. A little bit smaller. So if you like Sparks, which is the character here, but a lot of detail on a smaller piece of paper, It's always amazing on how much work they actually do for these small, tiny cards that ultimately get published. But for 500, quite a, and with all the prelims on it, a pretty good buy on this one.
Absolutely. I mean, the details on the pencils alone are, it's probably worth $500. But the whole set, to have the whole process of how this card was made, how the art was made, it's really pretty neat with all the notes as well, as you can see.
So this one's still available. And we're going to move on, I guess, in just a second here to 15, which will be the halfway point in our sale. And at that point, I guess after this, we can recap what's still available. And if you're following along on CAF, you can actually go ahead and look at that under my CAF, and you'll see the new pieces as they're listed at the beginning of the new editions. But you can see if it isn't marked sold, it is still available. Anything that is sold, obviously, has already been claimed. But let's go ahead and release this next one, which is going back to Marvel in 3, 2, 1.
All right, this is lot number 15. Price on this one is $1,000. This is from Marvel Preview.
Oops, I actually revealed the wrong one.
Yeah.
So let me go.
Oh,
ahead
on your end, on CAF.
on my end, but you go ahead and talk, and I
All
will on the update.
Let me just
problem.
mention that the it's kind of interesting. The eyes at the bottom and at the top right panel, they are kind of they're stats, and it's kind of 2 pages like sandwiched together with the stats on the back page with a cutout showing them. So the eyes, at the bottom right and the top right. It is a published page. We have the magazine is included with it. I can pull out the page and show it if you want.
So this was you also get the file copy of Ed's for Marvel Preview. And the inks on this one were either by P. Craig Russell or Rick Bryant.
Hey, Bill, can you shoot me for a moment?
I can. Let me switch here.
And this was the Star-Lord issue, was the sort of the main story in this. But I think you were talking about this in the video. Was this not, one of the first pieces that Ed did for Marvel?
Yeah, one of the first pieces.
And I think that's why it held a special place in his heart, was that this was an early piece that he did at Marvel.
And the writer was Bill Mantlo. So the history there for comics, Bill Mantlo and Ed Hannigan working together, did a lot of work together.
Yeah.
So yeah, it comes with the magazine, Ed's copy of it. And the page is there's a lot of really great detail on that page. And if you look at the back, it's stamped Marvel Preview, number 4 on page 52. It's got all the Marvel stamps on the back.
So from a very, I guess what has become an important issue, one of the backup stories for that. But I guess an early Ed Hannigan, nice wash work on this compared to, I know most of the stuff that we've got for sale is either, color prelims, which is obviously a different entity in and of itself. But I think it's the only one that we have that has true sort of wash to it.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of that style of Marvel artwork.
Well, I certainly am. That's I have a sweet spot for that period of the magazine artwork that had the ink washes and whatnot in it. It was just fun. It was a fun period in Marvel's history, I think. Like Rampaging Hulk, those sorts of books took that same kind of approach.
Yep. Well, hey, let's go ahead and let's see if we can recap what's still available. Okay. So I think, Bill, I don't know if you're prepared to show some of all these things, but we can
show them real quick.
Yeah, let's go ahead. I know we're at the midway point here. Again, we've gone through all the cover prelims at this point in time. So we've got Captain America 248 cover. Again, the final version of this was done by John Byrne. This is 2000. We have another Captain America cover that was actually drawn by Ed Hannigan, and the prelim was by Ed Hannigan at Cap 292, although it was originally looks like labeled for 291. We've got what was a final Bill Sienkiewicz cover, which is the cover prelim for Ghost Rider number 58. This is only $1,500, so one of the less expensive cover prelims that we still have available. We have the Peter Parker 66 cover prelim, which I may have just gotten an email about. So let me go see that. No. So no, this is still available. So 66 is still available. And then we have We have what else we have? We have the Doctor Who, I believe.
No, the Doctor Who's were picked up. Yep.
Sorry,
Next
the
is
Doctor Who was
Yep. The next up is the trading card art. I see.
sorry, I'm looking at what we've got here. So sorry, lot. Do we have lot 10 was correct? Was there?
That was the stamp. Yep, the stamp one. Yep.
That one was taken. And then, sorry, we had the Doctor Who. Let me just look and make sure I have somebody marked down for Doctor Who. Yes, we do. You're correct. And then we have the trading card art.
Trading card art, and then the piece we just showed, which was lot 15, the page from Marvel Preview, is also still available.
Yep. So a few pieces. Hopefully there's something else. Just go ahead and email me to see if there's something else that you want from what we've already shown. But we're going to move on to the second half here, to the back half, so to speak.
Lots of published stuff in these 15 remaining pieces as well.
Yep.
Yes. And so here we are. I think I teed back, going back to the Marvel World. This is earlier Marvel World, similar to the last piece as well. But a different character altogether, and it's got a famous inker. So 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this is lot number 16. Price on this one is $2,500, and this is the title page splash to Call the Destroyer, issue 19. Just lots of you don't see. Well, there's a fair amount of call artwork out there, but you don't see too many title pages. This is really, really nice. And I was never a big Conan fan, but I read Cull, so go figure. But this is a really, who doesn't love a good title page? And this one certainly is fantastic. I love the logo use up there with the tiger and the moon. And who doesn't like to have a piece of art that has Stanley Presents on it, right? At the end of the day, I think I only own about 2 title pages, so this is very, very attractive, and it's $2,500, lot number 16.
Now the piece that has Stanley Presents is loose, so you'll have to find somebody to put it back on properly.
And I actually think you and I are out of sync on this one, particularly for whatever reason. So I had a different Cull page that we were going to offer, I think.
Yeah, there was a mix-up, but either way, I can show the other page. That's the one I have.
I apologize if I'm showing the wrong one.
That's okay. That one's available too.
We can make that one available. It's a bonus. We will make, if you're a Cull fan, we've got 2 pages now to offer. That you can choose from.
Huh.
Hey, Bill, if you show me, I can hold up the other one.
I can do that as well. And I guess you'll have to. There you go.
And this one is Alfredo Alcala.
Yes. And Ed mentions this one in the video, talking about his work with Alfredo.
So my apologies for messing that up. I know it was highlighted in the spreadsheet, but I probably just pulled the wrong one.
Oh, it's okay.
But as we said, we had a few things to choose from. We wanted to get one example of Cull for those fans that might be out there of Cull. So we had to choose one. But now you get to choose from both because of that.
Exactly. If you want one or the other or both, let us know.
Let us know.
Well, sorry, that's my bad.
It's good. It's all good.
Hopefully it's my last mistake this evening.
It's all good. Try to sell some more. All right. Well, for this next one, we move on to a different character, also sort of best known for being from the 1970s as well. Yeah.
Chuck, let's just pause. I see there's a question about the that Cull page. How much is it? I think we said 2,500, right?
Yeah, we had 2,500 for the Alcala page is what we were looking for. I know we were debating what we would ask for the other one, but Lawrence, I mean, you can make up the price on the one that Bill showed. Is you also want to offer that at 2,500 as well?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So either your choice, 2,500, whichever you like better.
Right. Just let us know which one if you do claim it, and we can kick me in the pants later.
That's okay. No kicking going on tonight. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So moving on to lot 17. I think
that's right. All right. Lot 17. I'll make sure I got the right one here. in 3, 2, 1.
All right, and I should have taken that comment off of there from Nash. This is lot 17. It's priced at $800. This is from the volume 2 of Man Thing. This is issue 9, page 27. I can tell you that that middle left panel with the close-up of Man Thing is a paste up, but that there is original art underneath it.
Correct.
And another, again, like I mentioned earlier, I was a big horror fan, so Ghost Rider was always one of my top books, as well as Man Thing. So love to see Man Thing pages out there. There really aren't, you don't see them. You don't see them too often, because I think people appreciated horror back then, just like I did. So Man Thing was a popular title. So it's a very nice, nice page.
Okay. Yeah, and it is volume 2. So there were, we wanted to make that clear. There were obviously the original, I think it was 1973 or 1974 Adventure into Fear series. And then there was the 80s series. This is from the 80s series. But still has sort of that classic Man Thing look to it.
The copyright on the copyright stamp on the back is 1980.
1980, yeah. So it was from that second one, but still a nice little page, especially if you like Man Thing.
Absolutely.
And this is going to be our only Man Thing page that we offer tonight. So if you are a Man Thing page, don't expect it to be a little bit more.
And again, it's lot 17, $800 for this one, and you can claim it anytime by email before the end of the show.
Let me check my junk mail just to make sure that nobody. Oh, I do have some folks in junk mail. Thank you. I have lot 15, which is the Marvel preview one. So let me get back to those folks. I apologize. It looks like there was 2 of them that got stunk in junk mail, but I'll take the first one and let them know that they got it, and I will respond to the other one as
All right,
well.
well, that's good to know. You know,
at least I can since it's time stamped. That's the good thing about it. I can tell who got in.
I don't believe it's a giant-sized Man Thing.
No, this was not
was that a
Giant
question?
Size Man Thing. This was from the series 2 or volume 2. Giant Size Man Thing would have been in the 70s because they would have done all the giant sizes around 1975.
Come on, Stu. I know you want it.
It's not the first appearance of Howard the Duck either.
It's not the size of the muck. Thank you, Christopher.
Let me write down the winner.
And yeah, Disco Stu was making a joke. Stu is a scholar of this era of art.
Probably better than I.
I was fortunate enough to interview Stu with several of the guys, and it was one of my more fun interviews. So yeah. Stu brought it on himself. All right, so let's see. So that's well, it's great. So we've got 15 picked up as well.
15 is picked up, yes. So we still have the culls, and we have the Man Things that we just talked about, which is lot 17. And now moving on to lot 18 in 3, 2, 1.
All right, this is a beauty. This is lot 18, $4,500. It's a DPS.
And this is already claimed.
I didn't get to talk too much about it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
this
page.
I know this. I actually highlighted this one today in my email and on Facebook, so I had a feeling it was going to get picked up. But this was from Defender 66, pages 2 and 3. Bruce Patterson inks. I mean, it's got Valkyrie all over it. So I mean, it's a desirable page just for that. But I love the fact that Hannigan and Patterson put their initials in that giant column in that huge first panel of this double page spread. So congrats to them.
David Anthony Kraft's name is there too.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, no, I knew this was come on, it's just a desirable piece from an era of Marvel that there are a large number of fans too. So congratulations to whomever picked that up. I didn't even get to show the other because I was kind of figuring out how to actually
show all the slides you want on this. I think again, this is an education a little bit on Ed's art. So if there's other things you want to talk about with this one, that's great. I apologize. Looks like we have a second person that wanted to claim this. A little late on that one, but keep trying, and hopefully we've got something coming up for you.
There is another DPS coming.
I wasn't going to give that away, but yes.
All right. Well, all right. But no, as much as I love the first panel, I love the second panel. I thought the horse or the Pegasus was beautiful. I mean, it's everything about it. This was just an awesome page. I love the close up in the final panel. So no, this is a wonderful classic piece of art, and congratulations to whoever picked it up, because I am envious. But
Yeah.
that was probably my second favorite piece of art in the show tonight. So both of my favorites have been.
Have we shown your favorite piece yet?
Well, I really like that the Peter Parker cover pencil prelim. To be honest, I was a big Cloak and Dagger fan, and I really love that image. And so both of my top picks are gone.
Well, I think one of my favorite picks is still yet to come. So there is still more great stuff coming up, folks.
Oh, without question.
There's a whole issue of Cloak and Dagger prelims for another auction.
Yeah, well, we're not getting to that one. Don't tease people too much here. All right. Come on.
All right.
Lawrence,
well,
we got to focus on what we got tonight. We got to focus on what we got.
I'm promoting the future too,
I get it. Don't give people too many choices. We only got so much tonight. All right, but for those, as Bill let the cat out of the hat, let's go ahead and reveal our second double page spread from Defenders. 3, 2, and 1.
All right, so this is lot number 19. This is a little less. It's $2,500. This is from Defender 79. Pages 6 and 7 on this double page spread. Mike Esposito inks on this one, and I can show you the other slide since I'm covering up a little bit of the details on this one. Just a few more winged characters down there in the lower.
All right, we have this one
left.
Reserved as well. Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Or
really,
ma'am. I didn't want to give away who it might be, but
But I really like this layout just because it's it's breaking the panel barrier there with the lizard head in the center, and it's just in the cloud from the right page goes over into the left. I mean, I don't know. I always love dynamic page breaks. I mean, it's something that we talked about recently and with Neil Adams when we had him on for a sale of his art and his approach to kind of moving the viewer's eyes around a page. And I thought this was a really interesting layout by Ed. And again, congratulations to the buyer on this one. A fantastic pickup.
Yeah.
Yes, I apologize. We had a second person that just emailed me. I apologize. I'm going to have to say no. Sorry, sold. This is what I try to do, is keep up with that. And I've updated on CAF as well, trying to keep up with that. But those are the only 2 double page spreads that we do have for Defenders. But for those that are a Defenders fan, fear not, we still actually do have some more pages for you.
That's true. And I know that I don't always tease artworks before a show. I just thought that a couple of those pages were worth teasing. Obviously, I didn't cover, tease a lot of the prelims, but a couple of them I did. So hopefully that doesn't discourage anybody. I just felt like I wanted to put a little enthusiasm out there because I tend to not like emailing out any PR announcements on Sundays. And so I didn't send one for Ed's sale on Sunday. Typically on a sale like this, I would do it the day before and do the reminder a few hours before the show. And so when I didn't do that, I felt I needed to tease a few pieces of art, and that was one of them. And that's probably why somebody was just waiting to see that slide come up.
Yeah. And speaking of teasing, I won't tease that there could be a Defender cover prelim in another auction. So, or sale.
Lawrence, we got to live in today, my friend.
Yeah,
We're gonna mute Lawrence's mic before the end of the show.
All right. Well, okay. We do have one more Defenders page for folks. I guess let's get to it quickly so I don't have to reveal too much. All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right. So this is lot 20. The price on this one is $600. This is a page from Defenders 61. It's page 10. Bob Lubbers inks on this one, and it's got a reversed image penciled in on the back of the page of the Red Guardian figure. And I of course haven't seen this piece, but I assume that's some kind of a zipatone or so. What's
it's like a zipatone kind of thing. It's like,
is it a white zipatone? I assume it's like what Tom Palmer would use on sort of the Neil Adams stuff that was popular for it.
Yeah, it's clear, but it's got that, you can see the shading on it.
Yeah,
it's all original art under it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so of course Red Guardian becoming more popular in the male version of Red Guardian becoming more popular in the recent Black Widow movie. So at 600, a good sort of tie-in to the current Marvel universe at a reasonable price still.
And that drawing on the
Absolutely.
back
big
is-
splashy female figure, which I think it's certain artists are very skilled at drawing the female figure versus others, and I think Ed does a real nice job here.
Yeah.
That's true. And I was going to say that many dealers would call this a 2/3 splash, I think, or something along those lines. But we're not doing that. It's a fantastic final panel there with Red Guardian. And yes, Jason, it was all original underneath that. So for this is lot 20. It's $600.
And we have a claim on lot 20. So thank you very much to the person who claimed that.
Thank you.
Let me make sure that I update things then.
Yeah, I knew that one would go. It's just a great price for on a page that like that from that era. I mean,
Yeah.
$600 is a very fair price for that.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to get that era of page these days for something like that. But again, and it's been with Ed since he drew it. So I think that's the key thing about all these pages. These are all coming out of Ed's collection, not things that have been on the market before. So you should feel lucky in some ways that you are the first person to own this outside of the artist himself.
Yeah,
quite true.
All right,
got a couple
Well,
really nice pages coming up next.
When everybody's focused on the future and not the past or what we've got in the present. So we're going to move off of Defenders at this point in time. That was the last Defenders piece that we have, but there's another character that I think most people have heard of that is coming up now. I won't say what the character is quite yet, but it'll be pretty obvious as soon as we reveal it. And in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so lot 21. This is $2,500. This is from Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 17, page 35. It's got Jim Mooney inks. Lots of fun action on this one with the Spidey. And again, these you don't see too many of these pages out there. And again, this one has been in Ed's personal collection since he drew it. So this is a great opportunity. Plenty of bricks in that large.
And we have a claim. We have a claim.
Great. And whoever bought it, thank you. Some of the word balloons are loose, but they're all there. Of the ones you see in the image, there are missing word balloons, but the ones you see, a couple of them are loose, but they're there.
And I apologize. There was a second claim that came in literally about a second afterwards, and you missed it by just that much. So I apologize to the second person who did not get that great page, but we might have a consolation prize coming up here soon. Maybe.
Yeah, that is a beauty.
It
Thank
is.
you, Lawrence.
Spider-Man in every panel. It's, just great.
And from a key time frame. So let me go ahead and mark this sold on CAF. If you are playing along, please do look at my CAF gallery just to see what has sold and what has not. I'm trying to keep that updated, although there could be some errors because I'm trying to do everything all at once here. But all right. Well, for those that did miss out, we do have another page featuring a certain Spidey. But we'll give everybody a look at that in 3, 2, 1.
All right, and I actually like this one a little bit more than that other one, and it's a little bit less. This is lot 22. The price on this one is $17.50, and this is from Amazing Spider-Man Annual 17 as well, page 16. Jim Mooney inks again as well.
And this is also claimed.
Well, I didn't even have to try to sell this one.
You didn't have to sell that one. That was a good one.
I'll tell you that. Well, I mean, who doesn't love the classic image of Peter Parker?
The Ditko half.
Yes,
half thing?
exactly.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
I love that.
There's a lot of people that want to claim this. It is sold, folks. It is sold.
Those 3 panels in the middle are just so awesome. Him, tearing off his clothes to put the Spidey, showing the Spidey costume, the thwips, and he's got his backpack web there. I mean, everything about this page is just fantastic, and wow! And congratulations to whomever got it. Again, I looked at this one a lot. I really, really liked it, and those it's just an amazing page, and that's not a pun.
And again, on this one, some of the word balloons are loose, but what you see is
and it is sold, folks. I've got now 5 people that wanted it, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. But it is sold, so hold your and the 6th one. Here we go.
Yeah, fire up another email and have it ready.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Shows you the importance of being ready to pull the trigger, as literally within seconds it can solve. So if you got one that said sorry sold, that means you did not get it. The person who got it was the person who won that one. So let me I haven't had a chance to probably update it on CAF, so I will do that now. just to make sure that there's no doubt that it is gone.
Yeah, it was a great page.
Yeah, that was a good one. Just not as, I guess the value of having Spidey in every panel on that other one. So
In full costume as well.
yeah.
Now on this next one, Chuck, I know that you read up a little bit about some of the details on this one, so I'd actually prefer you to do the lead in to it after you do the 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, let me give the 3, 2, 1 on this, and I would suggest to people to look very closely, and I'll try to point you to where to look on this particular one. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this for people that read the story, these just to let people know, these are fans that are dressed in costumes. You see all the sort of major villains there, but look on the very first panel and you'll notice an artist that is drawing on a rooftop, and his initials are there, FM. So this is a nice homage to Frank Miller that is actually makes a cameo appearance that you may not have noticed in the very first panel of this 2-page spread. So, and I do have somebody that liked that story enough to buy it. So,
and it comes with
know that
prelims.
they got it.
Well,
It comes with all those prelims that are pictured to the left of the DPS as well. And I couldn't tell how many there were, but there were several.
Yeah.
So a very cool, spread. And I especially love when you find those, artists that appear in these things. It would be cool if it was Ed, but I think, and I don't think anybody's, I can't think of any other Frank Miller appearances anywhere like that. Can anybody else think of anybody?
Not with the water towers behind them.
Yeah, very New York.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I
very
just
nice
got a
package.
second person that wanted it. I apologize. I'm going to give you a sorry sold. It has been reserved, this piece of Marvel history, so to speak.
Yeah, you can see on the little briefcase there in the, let's see if I actually make it go full screen. That'll be easier. On the briefcase, it has the FM and Frank there with his flashlight drawing on a drawing board. So
I wonder if there's like a story behind that where Frank was known to be like late at night or something like that. Wanted to isolate from everybody else.
In this issue, there were a lot of like little goodies thrown in. There was a page with a ROM toy. There was a page that had like Star Wars toys in it. There was a cemetery that had a whole bunch of names of comic book creators in it. So it's a lot of
fan stuff, because obviously it was focused on, it was kind of a fan issue. So
yeah, a lot of Easter eggs in that one.
A lot of Easter eggs. Well, very cool page. And Lawrence actually pointed, I didn't even notice the first time I looked at that Frank Miller was making a cameo. So I think it's always great when you find a page where the deeper you look into it, the more of a backstory you actually find on it. But we're going to transition away from Spidey at this point, and we're going to move into back to DC. And we were talking earlier about favorite pages. This is one of my favorites that's in the sale, and I will reveal that in 3, 2, 1. And I'll talk a little bit about this one as well. So this is from Legends of the Dark Knight #1, the very first issue. And if folks remember, this was probably the largest selling DC comic of the early 90s, sort of comparable to the X-Men 1 in the Marvel world. Legends of the Dark Knight 1 had multiple different versions of the cover, but sold, I don't know if it was over 1 million copies, but probably in the hundreds of thousands or the high hundreds of thousands of copies, if not millions. This was actually inked by John Beatty, a good friend of mine. Also worked, obviously known for his work with Mike Zeck, but also worked with Ed Hannigan on those first few issues of Legends of the Dark Knight. And this is just a fantastic. Those people that like the Batman on Gargoyle look, here's an ultimate example of that by Hannigan from a key issue of the 1990s. And this is really, for me, is one of the stars of the sale here. Lawrence, anything you want to talk about on this piece?
Yeah. Hey, Bill, if you can shoot me, I've got a photocopy, which will come with us of the pencils. So pretty cool. I mean, and this piece itself was hanging on Ed's wall since it came out. So it's an amazing piece, and a piece of history, of comic book history, and one of Ed's favorites. The fact that it was hanging up on his wall and now it's here and you could have it, just kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, and you can see those. I mean, those great. I always love John's inks, and I think here it shows the feathering in the Batman's cape. Just a lot of the details that he really put into this. This was sort of Beatty at his finest when he was inking someone. And I think you also have to keep in mind, again, with the comparable Marvel stuff, this is probably the equivalent of X-Men 1, X-Force 1. That was that time frame where all these blockbuster books were coming out. This is the splash from the DC equivalent of those books. And although at $10,000, that seems like a lot, I think if you look at sort of the Marvel equivalents, you'd be paying, 4 times that for something of this quality for a key character like this as well. So it is a little bit more. Again, this is probably, one of Ed's personal favorite pieces that he had up on the wall. Hard, for him to give it up, but I think he'd like to for a fan to have this, and would actually go a long way, to raise money for, what Ed's looking to do here. So, if you're really looking for a one and done example of Ed's work, this is a great piece, and how I got into it. And I know John was very proud of this from an inking job perspective as well.
Yep. And from my perspective, this piece is so much better than any of the covers. This would have made it a terrific, amazing cover.
Yeah.
And
okay, it's a doozy. That is.
Well, think about it. I know it's a little bit more than maybe some people were willing, thinking that they wanted to spend at once. But I think as you stew on it and think about this is the once in a lifetime opportunity to get this piece, it may become clearer that this might be the piece that you take home for your present this year. So,
yeah, and again, that's another very representative of Ed to save the photocopy of the pencils too. Again, that was something that was really he enjoyed doing for reference for future things. So that's really cool that came with it as well.
Let me check my junk here just to make sure we don't have somebody that claimed it. And I'm checking no new junk mail coming through. Okay, well, I think we can move on then, Bill, for now to the next lot, which if 10,000 was a little too much for an example from Legends of the Dark Knight, we have another Legends of the Dark Knight piece that might be up your alley. 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this is lot 25. The price on this one is $2,000. It's a prelim from, it's a published page and a prelim. Yes, I'm sorry. I was reading ahead while I'm reading this, but it's Legends of the Dark Knight, number 5, page 17. It also comes with a prelim that was done with this as well. So
and it's interesting that the prelim wasn't a matching panel on this one. It's actually a panel of Batman. But
exactly. So, again, a nice example from Legends of the Dark Knight, and has some Zipatone in the first 2 panels. And this is like you said, it's a classic storyline, and it's a really great example of Ed's work.
Yeah, and a fun little prelim there of Batman costume.
Yeah, and again, this is John Beatty inks. So again, those folks they didn't work that much together. So I think it's a good example if you want it. And as Bill alluded to, we did look at sort of what are market prices on these things. I was actually surprised in sort of doing my research to find out what these pages have been going for. There have actually been early Legends of the Dark Knight pages that have been going for more than this. So when we landed on the page, we thought this was a reasonable price for one of these. So if you're looking for an early Legends of the Dark Knight page, seems to be the going rate for it, especially one that's got Batman in costume on it. So, again, if this is something that you valued as far as some of his classic runs, and I think this was a well-remembered run from that early '90s time frame, this would be a good example. These are the only 2 pages that we do have from Batman. So if you're holding out for something from that time frame, these are the only 2 examples, unfortunately, that we can offer you at this point in time. So hopefully there's one of these 2 that might go home with you.
Published examples that we
published examples.
Exactly.
Yes, we do. Well, we do have one more Batman piece that's about to come up here that is not published from that time frame, but is also a good example. So let's go ahead. I guess we can go ahead and reveal that one, if you're all right with that, Bill.
I am ready.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so this is lot 26. Price on this one is $1,250. This is a recreation. This is from Batman 373, classic image here with a rest in peace and Batman broken on top of it. So it's and the classic Ed Hannigan bubble signature in the artwork, which I always appreciated. And I'm sure most everybody did as well who remembers Ed's work. But this is a really nice recreation. And I wasn't sure the size on this one, Lawrence. Do you have that with you?
Same size as a regular comic page.
Oh, good, good. So this is 11 by 17.
Yeah. Really nice colors. Really nicely done.
And Lawrence, do you have a sense of what time frame this was done?
2014.
2014. And what, as far as recreations, just for folks that might be interested, is Ed still doing recreations, or when did he stop doing recreations?
Oh, he stopped doing them a few years ago. I know he likes to try to draw, but drawing like this, unfortunately, he can't do anymore.
So this is probably 2014 was probably around the last, sort of full recreation that he was able to do.
Correct. And he did it all. On some of those recreations back then, he had other people helping him. This one's all Ed. So probably
Very
the
nice.
last one of that genre.
Cool.
Pretty
Well,
good.
I have yet to get an email confirming this. This is the only, as I mentioned, most of our pieces are published pieces. This is the only cover recreation that we are offering as part of the sale, and is the last Batman piece that we have for sale as well. But so hopefully, if you're a Batman fan, one of those 3 pieces would be one that you want to consider. And you can always let me know. Just let us know the number of the lot. And Bill, do you want to do a bit of a recap on what's still available as well, since we're entering the final 4 at this point in time?
Well, we could do that, or I mean, if
We could wait.
we
Okay.
we
can
could do
end.
the other 4, right? And then we could do all
Sure.
from 1 through 30. Which ones are left? Yep.
You got it. Let's keep
Okay.
things going. I will key up the next one, which is also going to be DC artwork here.
Mhm.
Stick with that theme of Ed's career. So in 3, 2, 1.
All right, this is lot 27. The price on this is $800. This is from Aquaman Annual Number 2, page 25. This is this also comes with a prelim. It's
Which is
centered on
full
the
size.
image.
The prelim is full size.
It's full size as well. Is it? It looks like it's on vellum.
It is.
Okay. So just a really, really nice image on the page here of Aquaman, and you get the prelim as well. And
Correct.
It's full size. So this is again lot 27, $800, and again just a really nice example of Ed's work again.
And I didn't read this issue. Is that like a Brainiac reference with the skull in there, or is that something different that's going on? Do you happen to know, Lawrence?
I don't.
Someone in the chat will tell us.
I'm sure. That's what
But
this
no, it's
community
really
is
nice.
for. Somebody out
It's a
there.
really
knows.
nice page. I love it.
Yeah, I guess part of the reason we chose this was a little bit of variety of character, just to make sure we represented it. But also, I like the detail on this one, and also to have an example of both the prelim with the final page for somebody that's a fan of Ed's art. I thought it was a good example to offer out at a price under $1,000. So that's why we included it.
Yep, nice panel design on it as well. So again, if you like this piece, shoot Chuck an email at Comic Connection at hotmail.com.
You got it that time.
I did. I always have to remind myself to not stop. No pauses.
All right. Well, let's move on then to number 28, lot number 28
All right.
in 3, 2, 1.
All right. This is a really nice title page here. This is lot 28. Price on this one is $1,500. This is from Deathstroke, the Terminator, number 40. Page 2. It also comes with a prelim, and just really nice action on this one. It's got Deathstroke jumping in. The nice title work there. I always appreciate a good title, and on this one with the wedding in red, just like the way that is put together and designed.
The prelim is also full size.
Okay.
And it comes with 2 8.5 by 11 photocopies of the art, some with the names and some without. I'm happy to show it if anybody's interested.
All right. Well, so it looks
and
like
I think Deathstroke, obviously been making appearances in the movies as of late, and probably will take off a little bit more. But I know I used to have some of the Mike Zeck covers for these things, which have gotten relatively pricey. So nice to see a splash page example by Ed here at a reasonable, much less price there, but you get a nice full image of it.
Details are great.
Looks like it's missing the stats for the writer and artist information on it.
Stephen
but-
Grant. Yep. Ed did all the art on this page.
Okay. Wow. No, it's a fantastic page. I love it.
Yeah. And, and when you look at the size of the prelim and then the page and all the work on the page, you just think about how much work Ed put into this page. That's just one. And he did that
And
for
we
everything.
have somebody claiming lot 28 here. So
Awesome.
Oh, fantastic.
And again, it comes with 2 photocopies of the printed page.
Here,
Black
I'll
and white.
let me switch over to you, Lawrence.
thank
They
you
would
for
be-
your purchase.
Fantastic.
So,
Oh, thank you to the buyer on that one. I didn't think that
Yeah.
one was gonna last.
yeah, it's great.
Let me update CAF here just so I can make sure that people know it is sold now. Hold on a second.
All right, so we got 2 more pieces to show, and then we'll recap everything and
And the next one is
wrap
oversized.
things up.
Yes, and
Oh,
it
that's
also
right.
has an overlay, I believe, as well. So
Correct.
I'm not sure
Right.
if you're showing both on CAF. I
Yeah.
will show the overlay as well. It's a vellum overlay,
Mhm.
so you can just.
I've got 2 slides for this one too to show both without and with the overlay.
Sounds good. All right, well, let's go ahead and reveal it in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this is lot 29 without the overlay. The price on this one is $1,000. This is from New Teen Titans Annual number 1, page 38.
And this is
like
volume 2, because there were 2
Volume 2.
annuals that people might be familiar with, but this is volume 2, annual 1. Yes.
Correct. And here, let me show you with the overlay, with the vellum overlay. So they're just some different details that they probably used in printing to highlight the characters coming through there. But this is the image without the overlay. Just a really great, and I've seen a lot of Titans pages, and so if you're familiar with the published pieces on these, they are oversized and just really cool to have because you don't see these too often. But for whatever reason, the Titans books were typically from this volume were always done on oversized pages. So just really unique to have if you don't have too many oversized pages in your collection.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I think especially with the Perez art being what it is these days, there's just a lot of that same detail in this that you would expect out of a Perez type page. And you've got sort of some of the key characters here. So I like this out of the selection of pages that we had to choose from. I thought this was a really nice detailed page, and a little different to have Teen Titans for Ed, but also known for his Teen Titans work as well.
And of course, Brainiac.
Yeah,
that is true. In the last panel.
And we have someone that just reserved this. So thank you very much.
Awesome.
Let me go ahead and do the updates.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Yep. Congratulations.
And write that down. Give me a minute. We'll go ahead and reveal the last one, and I'll go ahead and update CAF just to let people know that one is sold, but lot 29 is now sold.
All right.
Let me not hold everybody up, and let's get to the very final piece. This is the
Pieces.
last one that we will be offering today.
It's 2 pieces.
Yes,
of art
I
with
agree.
the fun.
We went for a two for one thing here. We're going to have 2 consecutive pages, so make sure you see both of them. And it is from a different run that Ed is also known from working on, but we want to have an example. So in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this is the first artwork from this pair of artworks. This is lot 30. It's $1,250. This first page is it's from Green Arrow Annual number 2. Pages are 18 and 19, Giordano or McLaughlin inks. So this was the first page, and here is the second image. So both pieces of art are part of this lot number 30, the final one tonight, and the price for the pair is $1,250. So this is the one I'm showing right now is the second page, and I can go back over to the first one. Just love that first image up there in the second panel with the green arrow.
And it doesn't have too many pages like this. And fewer with the green arrow and shooting an arrow.
Yeah, I think we looked at that. And and I think we decided that these would be 2 good pages, especially since they are consecutive, to have that. I think, I think you've got folks like Mike Grell that are obviously known for drawing this. I think Ed's another one from that time frame that is well known for drawing this. And I think I know we weren't quite sure if it was Giordano or McLaughlin or some combination of that, but sort of some classic art or inkers to complement him there.
And consecutive pages for any books are always nice to have.
Yeah, and I think one great way of getting them is directly from the artists themselves, which is obviously coming from him. And it was probably, I think, Lawrence, you might be able to comment on this more, but I got the sense that this was a run that Ed felt very proud of working on.
Oh, I see Lawrence. Actually, because I can see from the green room, Lawrence's connection is kind of flaky at the moment. So he may have.
So that's why we can't hear from him. But
no.
Okay, well, I do not currently have a taker for lot 30. If you want these last 2 green arrow pages, that is lot number 30. Go ahead and send me an email for that. But let's go ahead and recap then where we
folder's been checked before we go.
I'm going to check. I've been checking the spam folder pretty regularly here. Whatever went into junk. I do not have anything in junk. I do not have anything there. Last one was lot 29 that we had somebody take.
All right.
But
and we should know too, as part of this recap, that anybody who's watching the show after the fact, if you see something that you like that hasn't been claimed, you're more than welcome to email Chuck. And we'll still set you up as a potential buyer for any of the artwork that isn't claimed. Just because we know that a lot of people in Europe are not staying up past 3 or 4 in the morning to watch our show. So I know this particular show is going to get watched by many people tomorrow morning in Europe. So if anybody is interested in anything that hasn't sold, at least inquire about it. Please reach out to Chuck, because there's always an opportunity for you to pick up a piece after the sale has been shown. So all right, so let's go through the recap.
Yeah, and the other thing I will say too is I know some people have emailed me throughout the sale to make offers on pieces that we've talked about at a slightly lower price. Definitely we'll take that into consideration. I'll have to talk to Lawrence and obviously the family before we agree to any lower prices on these. But happy if there's a piece you like but you don't like the price, feel free to make an offer and we can definitely take it back to the family. But again, all the money is going straight to the family on this one, and we'd like to sell as much as we can at the prices listed, just to also just make sure that they feel comfortable with selling the pieces, which I know these are coming out of their own private collection.
Good to know. I kind of had a feeling that might come up, once or twice throughout these, and I would agree completely. It will always be back to Ed and Heidi to make the decision on whether or not they feel an offer is fair. But again, these the prices that we don't haggle here for them. That is something that they would have to do with after the fact. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and do the recap. I think I've got everything highlighted properly here on my side of things. So,
I think there's one last thing to auction off.
Oh.
Well, people mentioned the gloves, so if anybody wants the gloves, I'll sign them for you. All the money goes to Ed and Heidi.
I think everybody would like to see Mike and Anthony get a pair of those gloves, based on the way that they handle artwork typically while we're doing the Dueling Dealers episode. So, all right, well, there you go, one last item. But all right, so to recap, we've got a few items here. I don't have the exact number, but it's probably about a third of the artwork.
Yeah, I've got them all here too. And again, feel free if you want to look at it in more detail and study them, go to my CAF. All these pieces have been released throughout the sale, so you should be able to just click on one of them and then go to the CAF gallery where all these pieces are being showcased. And if it doesn't say sold next to it, it is still available. And you can go ahead and email me through either CAF or just directly, and we can talk about reserving them for you.
True. And the link to Chuck's CAF gallery is in the description for the show, right on YouTube or Facebook. You can hop right over and go right into the gallery room with those artworks at any time during or after the show. Okay, so let's go ahead and start now. The first lot was lot number 2. This was the cover prelim to Captain America 248. Cover prelim, of course, and it is priced at $2,000. Such a classic image. You got the humor with the cookie. I mean, what more can you ask for as far as like wanting
I'm quite shocked that this one didn't sell immediately, especially for the fans of that John Byrne Captain America run. Finding one of these cover prelims from that run, it's got to be very tough. So again, Ed's obviously did the layout on this, not credited for it, but looks very much like that final cover. So if you're a fan of that run, this is a good example to have in your collection.
True. And the next piece is lot number 3, $2,000 as well. Another Captain America cover prelim. This is to issue 292, not 291, as
And
noted.
we have a claim for lot 2. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, I mean, that's
Awesome.
great. Like you, Chuck. I even though that one wasn't in color, that you know, as far as the prelims go, that was kind of one of my favorites. So I'm glad it's going to a good home tonight.
I am as well. So thank you to the collector out there that now added that to their collection. I hope you enjoyed as much as we did, and now you get to enjoy it for a longer period than we did. So. But this is this 291 or 292 cover here. This is all Ed. This was a cover that he signed with his big circular signature that you love so much. But this is all color versus the other one, which was black and white, a little later in the run, but all Ed from prelim. So.
Okay.
And I see a question out there. Ed is not accepting commissions at this point. The only art to get is what's out there.
That is true. I think he stopped doing that a little while ago, and hard to say if there will ever be another opportunity for that. So that's why the show that we're doing today is really unique for all of you, and we're really happy to be able to provide this to you for Ed and Heidi. All right, so let's see. Next one is lot number 4. That was the Ghost Rider cover prelim to issue 58. That was eventually drawn by Bill Sienkiewicz, and just lots of great use of color on this one. Classic image, and this one was lot number 4 was $1,500, so the cheapest of all the cover prelims that we were offering this evening.
But all full color on this one too. So it reminds me in some ways of like an EC cover, even though it is a Marvel cover. I don't know why. It's got kind of that horror feel to it.
Yeah, you just need 2 skeleton hands coming up through the road in front of them, and
maybe that's
maybe
that's the one that it sort of brings back memories.
Then it would be an EC cover. Yeah,
it's
definitely
the inside version of something like that. You know,
yeah, exactly.
Combine the two, and you've got a great movie.
All right, so this is a great image, and it's still available. Lot number 4, $1,500. Let's see, lot number 5 was picked up. That was the really fantastic Peter Parker penciled prelim. So the next up is lot number 6, which is also from Peter Parker. This was from issue 66, and the cover prelim to that. This price on this one was $2,000. The final published image, which you can see in the upper left, was a little bit different from this one, but it contained all of the signature elements of the cover prelim, just pitched at a different angle. And that was something that Ed actually mentioned in the little bit of an interview that we showed for you at the start, where he talked about wanting to try to always do something a little different, to pitch the logos, do something that wasn't normal, to kind of break them from their standard mold, I guess. And I like this one because it pitches it at an angle, follows the characters and everything else on the page in the same manner, and it's just a really great example of his work.
Yeah, I know your personal favorite. So, Bill, I don't know. Maybe this one's made for you if it doesn't sell today.
No, my personal favorite was the one before this that sold. The pencil prelim. I mean, this is a great one, but the Cloak and Dagger. You know, I've always enjoyed the storyline with Cloak and Dagger. Yeah, that one was number 1 in my list. All right, so next up is lot number 14, and that was the trading card art from Skybox. And this one came with several prelims, the pencil piece, and then the final inked piece by Carl Kessel. And again, this was lot 14 and $500 for this, and a very fair price. And for something that's highly detailed. I mean, look at all the buildings in the background. I mean, a lot of effort and work was put into this, in both the pencil piece that you can see on the right and the final inked version on the left. So as Chuck mentioned earlier, in the trading card art, you tend to get a lot of great art crammed into a small space. And I think this was 8x10 on the inked and pencil piece. So very nice.
And it was titled it's Sparks Fly, for those that were wondering. That's Sparks there. So card number 36 in that card set. So it was a published card. And so for only $500, a published card is hard to come by these days.
Quite true. And let's see, lot 15 was picked up. Now, as far as lot 16 goes, do you want me to show the one I made, or should we have Lawrence show the one that he did, or we show them both?
I think we should show both. I think we're
Show 'em both.
offering both of these.
Okay, so my mistake is your gain. This is lot 16 that wasn't supposed to be shown. This was called the Destroyer. This was from issue 19, the title page splash, and the price on this one was $2,500. Just again, a fantastic image, and it wasn't supposed to be shown, but again, it's I'm glad that I've gotten to give you 31 pieces this evening that you could have the chance to pick up.
Bonus.
And this, I think, is issue 16. Isn't maybe I've got the issue right. This is Young Montano is the inker versus the next one, which is Alfredo Alcala, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
So this was issue 16. So that's another mistake. All right. And Lawrence, I'm going to switch to you to show the other one. So this would be the alternate to the one that I showed. This is Alfredo Alcala inks on this one, and this is from issue 19.
Correct.
Oh, and we have, let's see, do we have a claim on this? No. Sorry.
So I guess it's
this. I mean, I think for those that like the Buscema Alcala run, having Hannigan and Alcala, interesting combination as well. Alcala always sort of puts his own stamp on a page, so I always think it's interesting when you see sort of the combination, especially for something that is Conan-like as Cull is.
Right. Yeah.
I agree. So that was lot 16, and it's almost like 16A and B for anybody who's
16A and B there. Huh?
$2,500 for each. And let's see, lot 17 would be next. That one was unclaimed.
That
Lot
is
17
Man Thing?
the Man Thing page. This one's $800. This is from volume 2, issue 19, or issue 9, page 27. And that close-up of Man Thing is a paste up, but there is original art underneath it. And again, this was $800, lot 17.
Nice image of Man Thing in that first panel there too.
Yep.
Agreed.
In the swamp, as you would want him.
And then let's see, lots 18 through 23 were all picked up, so we have to go all the way ahead to lot 24. And this was
the one that's surprisingly still available. And I'll let folks know I do have some offers that are on the table for this after the fact. So it may not last if you're sitting there, you're on the fence. It may not last if you sort of let it slide here, because we'll have to take some of those offers back to the family. It's a very desirable piece, obviously. And at $10,000, it seems like a lot, but in the scheme of things, as art is selling for these days, this is really the piece to have from a very key issue from DC's history in that.
Hey Chuck, from my conversations with the family, I don't think they realistically would go anything under 10,000. So if it's,
so for those that are hearing that, this was something that was set by the family because they really didn't want to do it. I do have and we do have somebody that is willing to pay time payments for that. Is that going to be acceptable, you think, for 4 months on this
I think
piece?
we could work something out.
Okay.
Sure. If it's again
All right.
short and simple, then we could probably do it.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and put that aside then for the person that would like it with time payments on that, and we'll talk to the family about it just to make sure that that's okay. But we appreciate that. I think this is an amazing piece.
Agreed.
So congratulations. We want to make sure it ends
Absolutely.
up. We'll make sure it ends up. I'm glad it can go to a collector hopefully here. Just one of my favorite pieces from this sale.
All right, that's I agree. This is it's a very memorable image, and if time payments can be worked out, that's great. We'll save the emails from those who made lower offers, but we got to start with the offer that is for the full amount. So, all right, so that was lot 24. Let's take a look at lot 25. This was the other Legends of the Dark Knight page, lot 25. This one was $2,000. This was from issue 5, page 17. It comes with a prelim. The inked page was also done by Beatty. So, you get another example of Hannigan and Beatty together. This is a nice 6-panel page. I like it. You get Batman in costume.
Yeah, Ed doesn't have many left of these, with Batman in costume.
This is for those that remember the Shaman storyline. So
Correct.
it was a classic early Dark Knight one. So still available. So don't hesitate to reach out.
All right. So then let's see. Next up is lot 26. That was the cover recreation to Batman 373. And lot 26 was $1,250. This was done on full size, so 11 by 17. It's got Ed's classic circular logo there, and it's also signed by Ed at the bottom and dated, I think it's a little small, but was it 2014, if I
Correct.
recall correctly. And so this piece is already signed. And just so those of you who picked up art already, if it wasn't signed, Ed will sign any of the art that has been sold this evening. He's also happy to personalize anything if you wanted it as well. This one is already signed, of course. And,
I've gotten a couple notes from folks and I'll confirm that in the emails that I send out in just a bit. Okay,
very good. And like we've talked about already, there probably won't be opportunities for recreations from Ed in the future. So this is one of the last few examples you'll be able to get, and certainly one of the last examples you'll probably be able to get from Ed directly. So $1,250, lot 26. Let's see, lot 27 is up next. That was the Aquaman annual number 2 page, page 25. This also comes with a prelim, and this artwork is $800. Lots of good detail in this one, and
really good example of Ed's work on this one.
And the prelim is also 11 by 17 as well, I believe.
Correct.
All right, and so again, lot 27, $800, and then 28 and 29 were both purchased. So the last item in our recap is a pair of artworks from Green Arrow Annual number 2, lot number 30, $1,250 for the pair. These are pages 18 and 19 from Green Arrow Annual 2, Volume 2, and it's either Giordano or McLaughlin inks. So this was the first page of the pair, and the second page is now on screen as well. So you get both consecutive pages in this lot for $1,250. And let's see. So I'll show you the first page one more time.
And again, Ed doesn't have many pages with Green Arrow doing his thing. So this is a great page, a couple of pages representative of that.
All right, the second page again one more time. So yeah. So we tried to get creative on the lots that we presented today, and tried to give you pieces that had prelims with them to kind of make the purchase a little bit more unique than you might normally get. But buying direct from the artist like you're doing tonight, we get opportunities like that, similar to that lot with 2 consecutive pages. So being able to work with Ed and Heidi on this has been a lot of fun for Lawrence, Chuck, and I. And so I'm really proud and grateful that we were able to present this to everyone this evening. And I'm really grateful. I think we probably sold at least a little over
20 out of 30. So that's 2/3 of the pages.
20 out of 30. All right. That's fantastic. And and I'll reiterate, anybody who's watching the show after the fact, or any of you who've been watching and were kind of on the fence throughout the show, you're more than welcome to contact Chuck at comicconnection@hotmail.com anytime this evening. You can also contact him through his CAF gallery, where he has a gallery room just for the artwork that we've shown tonight. He's marked everything sold that in the title of the pieces, and the link to Chuck's CAF gallery is in the description to the show tonight. So feel free to reach out to him anytime after the show in the next day or two, and just if there's anything that hasn't sold, there's you can still pick that up, and he'll reach out to you and let you know that. Now, anybody who has claimed artwork this evening, and if it's one piece or multiple pieces, Chuck is going to email you a total for the artwork that you've purchased, and also give you the payment instructions, and he'll be including Heidi in those emails to kind of get all that, get her involved in the transaction, because your payments will be going directly to Heidi, and she will be shipping the art. And as we mentioned, with the holiday and a few other issues around this time period, we are expecting the art to ship right after New Year's. So you can, expect to have the artwork delivered within, say 10 to 14 days, I imagine, or at least be in the mail, and probably have some kind of a tracking number from Heidi as well. So again, Lawrence, Chuck, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys letting me be a part of this with you, and to help Ed and Heidi. And I look forward to doing another show like this with you both.
Thanks. Yeah, and I just want to remind everybody about the CBCS mail-in signing. So they want everything to come in in February. Again, go to their website. The details are there, and the $15 they're charging, all that goes to Ed.
Yeah,
Got
and
it.
thanks to all those that donated throughout this, just sort of
Yeah,
out of the goodness of
absolutely.
your own heart. I think that's very much appreciated. I didn't get to tally that up, but that'll make an extra difference in sort of holiday giving back to Ed and
Yep.
family. So very much thank you, even if you didn't purchase a piece today. We thank everybody for tuning in here. Hopefully you listen to the full video that is going to be released later on this week. Get some insights into Ed's career and discussion, hopefully about some of your favorite pieces as well. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to do this next year. And I think it's a great thing to continue to do with some of these artists that want to reach out to fans directly. And I'm glad we could do this for you today.
Yeah, great way for the community to come together at this time of year and really support each other and Ed and Heidi. So thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everybody who participated, who purchased art. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, everyone.
All right. And I'll just real quick, I'll name everybody: Kyle H, Nick Barucci, Jim Martin, Mark V, Disco Stu, Christopher Daly, Jeff Seidlich, and then finally here, Samuel Rojas. I think we've raised almost $700 from those super chats. So thank you so much. It really means a lot to Ed and Heidi, and thank you for your support. So if we don't get to talk again before the holiday, have a great Christmas and a wonderful New Year. Chuck will be in touch with everybody right after the show. And,
yeah, I got to have dinner first, but I'll
okay.
get pretty soon.
That's
so
right.
Give me some time to eat. I'm a small guy.
All right. So again, thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.